Snaps, coffee brews, we're like, here we go. I'm the broken baker, chat's coming in slow. Lawyers pace, jury sits, the room hums alive. Leaning forward, screens glowing, this is where we thrive. You need this stream from roll real. Chat's the heartbeat, loud and clear. Trials come and go, but we stay near. Crimes up, crimes down, you're always here. Drops, lawyer jumps, tension spikes, we freeze free, the jaw drop, chats and lower yikes. Not mocking the mess, just sharing the rush. Even silence feels like a crush. We read this stream from roll real. Chats the heartbeat, loud and clear. Trials come and go, but we stay near. Crimes up, crimes down, you're always here. So grab your mug. Don't be late, the baker's life will set it straight.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whoever you are, whatever you are, whatever, and Tuesday. Thank you, Jason. I don't comment on politics, but thank you for the $2. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, Holly. Jason, M. Spire, Left Eye. No, thank you, not on my channel. Hey, Crispy. Sweet. Hey, Bornholm. Bornholm. Du er min dejlige ferieø. Bornholm. Ude midt i den Østersø. La-da-di-da-da-di-la-da. Every time I see your last name, I'm reminded about the Danish island called Bornholm. So probably that's going to be your name from now on, Barbara. You know, on this channel, someone gets a nickname, no one knows why, and it's just because I can't read right. Hey, Tracy Dane. Hey, Melly. Again, reach out to me on if you need anything, and I'll try and help you out as much as possible. Melly is another content creator where she is, I think she's just getting into is it Fitzsimmons or was it Karen Reed? No, you're starting the Fitzsimmons or Sandra Birch. One of the cases we have talked about. So I said, hey, contact me if you need something that my Wonder Mods can figure out, and we might be able to have whatever court transcripts so she doesn't have to fight and do, because the kid have done most of that work. I am super duper excited to get back to this. I will be breaking something later. Well, not breaking. I'll be asking something later. Well, maybe when I'm done saying hi. Hey, Queen. The fingers on some of these AI creations. Oh, wait. I'm not AI. These little fat stubby ones are my own. Hey, Anime. I am a baker, true. It's true that I am a baker. Hey, Judge. Well, most people will get a headache when I start singing. Well, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing that it's your married name, but you will now be known as an island where people talk weird, and it's a kind of an Alabama island where back in the day there were like 3 last names on the entire island. If you know anyone from Denmark who is named Kofod, they are most likely from that island. Your ace is... I don't know. I am a first generation Estonian American. My mom was born in Haapsalu, Estonia. Well, then you're actually quite close to Bornholm, because that was the set-off point back in the days when us, because we are a very, very conscientious people, the Danish, and we wanted to save the Baltic countries from Satan. So we went over there and killed a lot of them just to make them sure that God would accept them into heaven and turn them into good Christians. Some people say that just because some Lithuanians had beaten God into them maybe 50 years before, that they were saved, but no one converts people like a good killing by the Danes. That's where we got our national flag when I believe that was in Estonia, maybe Lithuania, when we were about to lose against a superior army, and our God and our king, called the Valdemar Victory, got down on his knees and with his priest Absalom prayed for victory, and God gave us a new battle standard, which is the Red Cross fan or Red Cross flag. And with that on our shirt, we beat the heathens. Technically, they weren't quite heathens, but they were not Danish Christians. So we were in the right. We saved their souls by killing them and sending them to heaven. So that's how we saved Estonia from Satan. You don't have to thank us. We did it. We were happy to do it. We might have occupied a little bit of their territory for a couple of maybe 50, 100 years. Don't think about it. But that's how we got our flag. Before that, we had the Raven flag. That's the one we used when we used to go and beat the Christians in Britain. Now we were Christians, and we were going to beat the heathens in Estonia, Latvia, and the rest of the Baltics. And we got a new flag that was the red with a cross on it. Some say we might have stolen some from some hospital knights, but absolutely not true. We did it because we are the best people in the world, and we are very concerned about your salvation. That's why we'll go and beat people up. In 1235, I believe it was. Coco Beware. I'm not sure Coco Beware was quite from Bornholm. Yes, I want the Kalmar Union back, because that's when the Three Crowns was under the Danish king. It's the best time that has ever been in Scandinavia, when we were united, and then the stupid Swedes went and ruined everything. Oh. So that's before we were real Christians. The Dutch have a great history of converting heathens, so Baker is kind of a soulmate with the Dutch. Well, the Belgians are even better. Ask them how it went on in the Congo. Well, they weren't the last, but apparently, again, it's a technicality. The either Lithuanians or the Polish had converted them before, but we converted them again just to make sure they were good Christians. We got away from the Catholic Church in 15. Oh, I should know my history. 1532, 1535, 1567 or something. We found out that we really didn't like to pay tax to the church, so we made the Danish People Church, where everyone pays 0.4% of their taxes to the church. Hey, Mo Raiders, good morning. How are you all doing? You are just in time for History on a Budget with the Baker. How to convert heathens that might already have been converted.
Appearances, please.
Christy Gordon, Sue Opera, Detective Fredericks, and Christy Gussie for the state.
Your Honor, Attorney Peter Wolf appears alongside Attorney Pablo Galaviz. We appear for Mr. Matthew Pahl. He appears in person in custody.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And we finished up yesterday with Ms. Pescador, still undergoing direct examination by Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf, is there anything we need to take up before we start today?
Your Honor, just that Ms. Pescado was dropped off by her Uber driver in front of the juvenile center. She's walking over. She's going to probably be another 2 or 3 minutes, but I believe that Mr. Pahl is in a position to conduct the colloquy relative to whether or not he will testify.
Okay, all right, very good, and I'll do that in just a second. Anything else from the state before we start?
No, Judge.
Okay, so, Mr. Pahl, yesterday we finished up, and I know your attorneys had an opportunity to talk to you about your right to testify and your decision to testify or not testify, your right to testify or not testify. I know that as well. The bailiffs brought you in to talk to Mr. I think Galavis this morning as well, I presume, about that decision also. And do you feel that you've had enough time to talk to your attorneys, sir? Mr. Pahl? About your decision to testify?
I don't know if it was enough time, but...
You want more time? Okay, that's fine. We'll give you more time. We'll take it up later. We'll switch off your microphones and you can talk right now. With Mr. Pahl.
Where is Delafield at? That's in Waukesha, Wisconsin. If you can lie to anyone but yourself, why do I keep telling myself I love my job? It is going to be one of those Mondays. Anyway, I think you have a lot of Mondays. Thank you all, Mo Raiders. Welcome, welcome. He is in custody. That's why he was asking for more time, because they were allowed to stay a little bit later yesterday. He was brought in earlier to talk today, but he didn't feel like he was done talking. So that's why they are discussing right now if he is going to testify or not testify. There will be a colloquy asking, blah, blah, blah. Has anyone threatened you? Have anyone said anything? Do you know that you have the right to do this? Like we see it in most other cases. No, they probably got past so we're having a conversation, true, and then he was driven back to prison. I bet he wants to testify and his awful lawyers don't want him to. At this point, I don't think I would let him testify if I had anything to do, because there's still a lot of reasonable doubt. He can go on the stand and on cross-examination be ripped completely apart. Waukesha County. Thank you. I don't know why I'm... Always, if I see them, I will answer most questions to try and... because, hey, you might have been new here. You might not know how trials work. You might be wondering what is, if any, is going on. And you might not know where we are streaming from or all of that stuff. And that's why you watch on channels that has a commenter, not just a direct live feed. So anytime, anywhere, almost. Hey, Mimi. I would be terrified for direct if I was him, not to mention cross. Yeah, imagine getting up there and say, okay, let's just stick to this. She was a drug addict. She was always just making up stories about how I beat her, and I never did anything. I was on the way out of the country. I didn't want to do anything with her. So you beat her, true? No, that's not what I said. You wanted her to leave the country, right? True? No. Yeah, and Sue Upper is really good at doing stuff like that. Well, a lot of dumb people think they are smart people, and a lot of dumb people will talk themselves into a prison cell instead of listening to. He's not having good lawyers, but people who have good lawyers, again, not to always spin it back to the Karen Reed case, but why in the hell did she talk? Her big mouth could have ended her in prison because she wanted to talk to the media. I want my story out. You can get your story out the day you're here not guilty. Then you can talk all about everything you want to talk about. But until then, mum's the word. You don't talk. You don't say anything because more people have been put in prison by their own mouth than other people's mouths.
All right, anything else before we start from the state?
Yes.
No, Judge.
Mr. Galaviz, anything else, sir?
I think if his
You're still talking to your
defense
client. I'll
could
give you
talk
time later
a
about his
good
decision to
closing
testify or
argument.
not, okay? Yes, sir. All right, we're going to continue now. We'll bring the jurors in.
Your Honor, you want her on the stand or just here?
Just there. She can come up to the stand. That's fine, all right? Come on up there. And then when the jurors come in, we'll swear you in again, okay? All right, so. Wait, will you stand up?
Yes.
All rise for the jury.
That's not smart. Oh, stay inside. Stay inside. That sounds horrible. She talked as a way to testify without taking the stands. Yeah, and that was really, really dumb because, as you can see, they can cut whatever they want out of it and use it against you. She should have waited a month, 2 months, and she could say whatever she wanted,
All right,
and they
have a
couldn't
seat,
use it
everybody.
against
Thank
her.
you very much. All right, all 14 jurors have returned. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming back. We are going to continue again with the defense case. Ms. Pescador, if you could stand up and raise your right hand to be sworn in again, please. Thank you.
Please swear the testimony about today in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do.
All right, have a seat, please. And of course, you are still Alex Pescador, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Continue, Mr. Wolf.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Pescador, a couple things that I thought of after you were testifying yesterday. We obviously went over your education and the work that you've done in this area. How old are you?
35,
Okay. And when did you start dog training?
when I was 18.
Okay. Thank you. And I know we're not supposed to ask that, but I think it's important here. The other area I want to touch on before we get into the actual search is you reviewed Deputy Willis's qualifications, correct?
Yes.
And did you look at his certification from the NNDDA?
Yes.
What did you note about his certification?
Could you please be more specific?
Who certified him for NNDDA certification?
He had 2 different evaluators. The first one was Mr. Gumman, and the second one was Ms. Corcoran.
Okay, what did you note about the individuals who are providing the certification?
With Ms. Corcoran, that was his main trainer.
Okay, and why is that an issue?
It was significant because in the standards under OSAC and what was posted with AAFS, the American Academy of Forensic Sciences, and under Swig Dog as well. It is typically against best practices for someone who is significantly involved in the training of a canine to also be the evaluator for the same canine.
Okay, why is that?
It's a kind of a conflict of interest.
Okay, let's, as part of your, Madam Clerk, just for the witness, we're going to pull up Defense Exhibit D12.
612.
I'm sorry, D612.
Yes, apparently they have filed a secret filing in that case. Marbury v. Matt is on it and hopefully can get it without having to sue them again. This is the Crown witness. I hope she does well, but I have absolutely no confidence in her defense team. And by the way, I put up a poll because the last couple of trials have been absolutely horrendous, and at the same time, they are very late my time, and it has been taxing. You might have noticed that I'm a little more cranky than normal. I'm almost at Sue levels. Sue level when she starts her day is where I end mine. She will then crank it up from there. So I was thinking maybe to go back so I know I can control the time and I don't have to sit here till midnight every day. We were watching the Rentala case, or tried, I think we did the first day or something like that. I know that case, it's a pretty good case. I think it's interesting. I didn't have that many viewers back then. I probably had like 20 people watching it with me back then. I would like to go back and watch that so I know kind of how long I have to stream every day. Maybe if there's some other case, no, I don't want to do a 45-week rendition of the O.J. Simpson case, but something else that you know about, but you didn't watch at the time and would like to watch, so I know how long my days will be, just so I don't burn myself out completely, because I am at that point right now with all the drama we've been through the last month, that either I need to get a more controlled schedule, I need to take a break, or I need to figure something else out. So the question is if anyone want to go back to watch that, or watch, I don't know, an older case, the Henderson case or whatever case, just to see if he took a bite. Something like that, where I kind of know, okay, I will be in bed by 10 o'clock every night, because it's been kicking my ass doing all of this, while I at the same time have a lot of DMs going on, a lot of people pulling my legs to try and get me to have an opinion on everything. Or if you just want us to try and find a new case, and a new case, and we can do that. That's the mindset I have behind the questions we are asking today. Spaces is it's kind of like a streaming thing you can do on X, where I can set up a space. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the numbers to do it. It's you have to have a certain amount of people watching you, following you, something. And then you can just, if you follow that creator, let's say I do it, you follow me on TwitTwat, and then I open up a space, you will get a notification, hey, Baker is live on Spaces right now. You can then go into it and listen to it. And then you can request to be a speaker on it. And I can say, I don't want to hear what Mama Buck has to say. I just want to talk for an hour and log off. Or I can say, hey, I really want to know what Mama Buck is. And I can allow you to speak, and then you can come on and speak to the entire group. It's kind of like a call-in service that they have on the TwitTwat. It's most of the time I find it to be an absolute hellhole, because everyone wants to come in, and I'm sorry to say it, most people are really, really bad at speaking in public. they will spend, it's kind of like when you have a call-in show, everyone will say, oh, I'm so glad I got through. Yeah, we heard that. Just move on. You are through. Just like the last 10 people before you. I really love being here and I love your show. Yeah, shut up. Just move on. So most spaces I've seen is ending in anarchy because 5 people are trying to yell over each other to be heard. It's kind of like being on Friday Night Live with the expert. No one knows who's speaking and everyone does it at once.
One moment.
Oh, that's old news.
Pardon me?
It's only going to hurt my shoulder because we got it.
Sure.
But the OJ case, I believe,
Your Honor, may I approach?
was
Sure,
it a year long? I'm not going to do that.
Given our technical problems, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 612. Can you tell me what that is?
This is my report.
It's not that they get me in the middle of the night. It's when I wake up in the morning. Some days I have like 25 DMs and I go in and I look at them. I don't answer all of them because someone has said something on a night stream that I apparently have to have a position. Did you see what Declara said yesterday? No. Did you know what Aiden said? No. Did you know what LTL said? No. And I just don't. I'm sick of the drama, but I can't escape the drama because all of these people are people I have made streams with, and sadly, that's just how YouTube is. And maybe I just need a little vacation or something.
And again, tell me what steps you took to put that report together. Just refresh what we talked about yesterday.
It was an evaluation of several different documents as well as a comparison of standards for canine training, evaluation, and performance.
Okay, so what documents did we talk
Well,
about?
it hasn't
that you
been
looked
confirmed.
At,
Aiden was
Deputy
told
Willis and Raven's
Sunday
training documents, correct?
Correct.
And we just talked about the certifications.
Yes.
Okay. What did you look at specific to the search of Mr. Pahl's truck on September 19th of 2022?
Right. So this was also a comparison of the environment of which the search took place.
OJ is a 6-month trial. It's not a fun Sunday afternoon. I can't remember who just did the OJ case. It's absolutely horrendous. 6 months.
So there was a search environment, odor dynamics that could occur within that environment, as well as the setup, procedures.
Have you seen what I tell people? Even when Mike came at me, I just said, I don't know why you have done what you do and why you want to do this, but leave me out of it. People don't listen to me. You should know you don't listen to me.
And that took place.
First of all, can you tell me so you studied the environment where the search took place?
Correct.
What were your observations about the environment where the search took place?
There were significant issues from the start about potential cross-contamination of odor. The environment included a building where historically as well as present, cross-contamination could occur between vehicles where human decomposition odor may have introduced cross-contamination. So where ventilation fans were on in that building, air could have blown from one vehicle to another and introduced human decomposition odor between vehicles.
And why strike that? What could have been done differently for the test to have more accuracy?
If it was done outside
of
that building.
So do you think any comprehensive forensic search could have been done within that garage at the time or on September 19th, 2022?
No, it would have introduced the problem of cross-contamination from the beginning by putting that vehicle inside of that building, not just because of what was stored inside the building that day or in the days preceding when that defendant's vehicle was put in that building, but because that building was historically used to store vehicles involved in fatal accidents over time, it would have accumulated human decomposition odor.
Okay, if they would have emptied that barn and then put four cars that they were aware was clean and then Mr. Pahl's truck and gotten a hit on Mr. Pahl's truck, would that have been a good test? If they put those vehicles, if they pulled all the cars out and then put 5 cars inside of that barn right away, would that have been a good test?
No, it still introduces that problem.
Did you study Deputy Willis's report where he talks about what the steps that he took during that particular test?
Yes.
And what observations did you make about how he, let's start with the start of the test, what he did pre-test? Tell me about your observations there.
Could you be more specific?
The action, there were certain actions that Deputy Willis had directed prior to Raven being introduced to the environment. Can you tell me what observations you saw, or what you noted about that process?
That he had directed a detective to burp the vehicle.
Okay. And again, what is burping, and why do you feel that was inappropriate?
So specifically, he had directed a detective to burp the target vehicle, which in this case is the defendant's vehicle. I felt that was significant, one, because it was the only vehicle that was directed to be burped. And in the document, I was directed to evaluate, in this case, which is included in my report, it was the Dauber hearing for Officer Willis, or Deputy Willis, in which he testified the reason for having that vehicle burped was...
Your Honor, I'm going to object to hearsay. I don't think the question called for it, but the answer is going there.
Okay, give me 1 second to review the question.
I can change. I'll modify the question.
Okay, so I'll sustain the objection. Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Pescador, why do you believe Deputy Willis
Almost been tough.
directed that the vehicle be burped on that day?
Objection, speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
Deputy Willis, or I'm sorry, Ms. Pescador, why is burping a good or a bad idea?
So burping a vehicle is used in detection dog searches at times in order to empty the vehicle of oversaturation odor. And what happens in oversaturation odor, sometimes when a vehicle is full of odor, that means that the cabin of the vehicle, the odor inside the cabin of the vehicle is equalized, means it's equal all throughout the cabin, and a dog will have trouble pinpointing the source of the odor. So if you were to take a dog and search around the perimeter of a vehicle, it will be difficult for the dog to tell you exactly where the odor is coming from if you're just doing an outside search of that vehicle. So you would burp the vehicle to help the dog be able to tell you exactly where around the vehicle that odor is coming from. And you would do that when you're not ready to open the vehicle and start doing an evidence search inside of the vehicle.
Would you normally have the vehicle pinpointed? If you were doing it in this environment, would you normally see if the dog hit on the vehicle first and then attempt to pinpoint where in the vehicle?
Could you rephrase your question?
I'll move on.
Jesus Christ.
You talked about the contamination that was within the barn, correct?
Correct.
And what additional would happen when they were burping this particular vehicle, given the contamination that was in the barn at the time?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What happens to the air?
Why didn't you talk beforehand so he knew how to ask a question? You're his witness. You shouldn't be surprised that he asked you. What he wants to know is, when you're burping a vehicle, can you actually get other scents to stick to that vehicle because it could draw odor to it? He's horrible.
Around the vehicle when somebody burps when they burp the vehicle.
So the motion of opening and closing the doors. One, you open the door, and that will cause the air to be sucked into the vehicle, and you can do it yourself. You open the vehicle door, it pushes air into the vehicle. When you close the door, that action of closing the car door will also push air from outside and around that door along the seams of the vehicle, and it'll push it towards the back of the vehicle. And as you go around the vehicle and you're basically fanning air inside and outside of the vehicle, you're pushing the air in and out of the vehicle and around the back of it.
Okay, so given the fact that the area that the barn you testified was contaminated because of all the other vehicles, that action actually pushed air toward the back of Mr. Pahl's truck?
You're circulating the air inside and around the vehicle, so yes, technically yes.
Okay. Then you went through extensively the description of the actual search, correct?
Correct.
What did you note about the positioning of Mr. Pahl's truck in this particular search?
The positioning of Mr. Pahl's truck was at the entrance of the search area, which is also the exit of the search area, so it was the start and end of the search.
Is that significant?
Yes.
Why?
It gives the dog 2 passes over the same target vehicle.
Is there anything else about placing a target at the end of a search?
It could potentially introduce a cue to the dog.
Okay, and could you please elaborate on that?
It could be considered something of an end of search cue or start. start and end of search queue. So if a dog is trying to figure the best way to word this concisely, a dog completes its search and it has not alerted to a vehicle or a source in this case, and it realizes it has not received its reward. It's completed its search and it realizes that it may feel prompted to turn around and alert in order to receive its reward.
Okay. You also observed the path that the dog took in this particular case?
Yes.
What did you observe or note about the actual search from start to the end in this particular case?
I'm sorry, could you please be more specific?
What actions did the dog take that were notable during the search of the rest of the vehicles in the barn?
About its behavior?
Yes.
Well, the dog did show 2 changes of behavior in that building that were consistent with changes of behavior, as in it noted human decomposition odor, of which it was trained to alert to, and it did not perform alerts.
Okay. And there were only 2 changes of behavior in that report, other than the final cue, correct?
Correct.
Okay. When the dog was finishing the search and came around behind Mr. Pahl's vehicle, what were your observations about the actions of Deputy Willis as well as the dog?
That he had turned around and started walking towards the other end of the building.
What about the specific actions taken by the dog as the dog passed behind that vehicle?
That it had turned around at the same time that Officer Willis had turned around.
Were there any other actions taken by Deputy Willis that might have signaled anything to the or by the dog that have you concerned about whether or not the eventual alert was other than accurate?
I'm going to object to a compound question asking it was either the handler or the dog. I think we need to be more specific, Your Honor.
What is the question again?
I can break it down.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
Go ahead, break it down.
Were there any actions by the dog that caused you concern about about the validity of the eventual alert?
Yes, the dog also looked to the handler at the same time, approximately the same time that the handler had turned and started walking on the other side of the building.
It doesn't have a board.
Come on.
Madam Clerk, can you see if our system is up and running? This is for the witness only. Okay. Ms. Pescador, I'm showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit number 610. Have you seen this exhibit before?
Yes,
And you also have a similar exhibit in your actual forensic report, correct?
correct.
And how was that information put together?
This was a list of vehicles that was provided to me for review of the vehicles that have been stored in that building where Mr. Pahl's vehicle was placed for the search.
Okay. And these, what else so these vehicles were in the bar in the Public Works garage at the time?
I do not recall if they were all present in the barn at the time.
Okay. But were you ever given a clear picture of what vehicles were actually in the storage barn at the time of the actual search?
I don't remember exactly all the vehicles that were in the barn at the time.
Okay. But so what is this exhibit again?
This is a list of vehicles that have been stored in that building that were involved in fatal accidents or serious injury accidents.
Okay. And this was on or about the time of the search by Deputy Willis?
Yes.
Okay. And what did and just I'll scroll through real quickly to make sure. And you also the last entry here, you learned about another vehicle that was in the barn, correct?
Yes.
And that vehicle also had been in a fatal crash?
It was a, yes,
Okay, and in that case, like several others, there was a deceased person actually in the driver's seat of that vehicle, correct?
correct.
And do you feel it would be important to know precisely what vehicles were in that barn at the time of the search by Deputy Willis?
Yes.
And why would that be important?
It would be important to understand the human decomposition odor that was at play in that building at the time and about how much that would be influencing the dog search.
Okay. Was this information in Deputy Willis's report?
No.
Was this information immediately available to you when you first saw Deputy Willis's report?
No.
Your Honor, I'm asking to publish Exhibit 610 to the jury.
Can I just confer with Attorney
Sure.
for a second, please?
Shown to the jurors.
Again, Ms. Pescador, so from what you understand, the first column is the police report from the Sheriff's Department that relates to the particular vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And you received a stack of police reports, is that right?
Correct.
And that's what you compiled when you put, you put your own chart very similar to this in your report, correct?
Correct.
And then this report just adds that final, I just want to show the difference. This report adds the final vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, and then the next column is the date from the police report, the date that the report, or the date of the incident related to that vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And then there's a description in color, if available, of the vehicle?
Yes.
And then there's a description of the type of incident that the vehicle was involved in, correct?
Yes.
And what did you note about that list of vehicles?
By the way, kind of breaking news. Bradel has just put on the Twitch that the full panel of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court has granted further review of the Kelsey Fitzsimmons lower court bail determinations. The clerk's office will soon schedule expedited briefing. So hopefully they will give it a better look than the single justice who looked at it before.
That list of vehicles.
There are several fatal crashes several fatal crashes and injury accidents.
Okay. And like the second row, the Dodge Caravan, that was involved in a fatal crash, correct?
Correct.
And that was in March of 2022?
Correct.
And the deceased, there was a deceased person in the driver's seat as a result of that accident, correct?
Correct.
And underneath that it says and/or. Is that because, again, you don't know for sure which of, you just received reports related to the vehicles, correct?
Correct.
So you can't say for certain as far as which of those two vehicles were in the garage?
Correct.
Okay. The going down a little bit, there was also a motorcycle that we believe was in the garage. Is that correct?
Correct.
And as a result of that accident, the motorcycle ended up embedded in the truck.
Correct.
Some way. And just scrolling down, so there's two pages. There's actually two pages to this exhibit, correct?
Correct.
And again, probably I didn't do a percentage check, but about half of these vehicles were involved in fatal crashes in one way or another, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You saw in Deputy Willis's report that the dog only exhibited 2 changes of behavior, right?
Correct.
And what is given this list and your knowledge now of the inventory, what is your concern about the search that was conducted by Raven and Deputy Willis?
That the dog did not, she only gave 2 changes of behavior in that building, and she did not alert to any other potential sources of human decomposition odor in that building or any other vehicles. She only alerted to a pre-identified vehicle in this case under very complicated, complex conditions.
Okay, you said pre-identified. So when we were talking, I believe with Deputy Willis, we talked about blind and double blind evaluations, correct? Or searches, I'm sorry.
Correct.
And what's the importance of blind and double blind searches?
So blind searches, I think that was explained before, potentially. The importance of that with dog searches is that it's basically you don't want to cheat on a test with any kind of searches. And it's like knowing the answer. If you know where a source is hidden in a search area, you're not really searching for it. So you have an evaluator go out and hide a source for the dog to find. And that evaluator accompanies the dog and the handler out in the search area. They know where the source is hidden, and they are watching to make sure that the dog and the handler can do a search. They don't know where the source is.
Oh, anyone who lives where you can vote, remember, if you don't vote, you don't get to complain after. That's the best thing about elections. Not who gets elected. They're all equally rubbish. But you get to complain after if you go to the voting booth. If you don't get to complain. That's how I taught my kids, and this is how my parents taught me.
And that the dog is able to find it, and that the handler can read the dog and understand its changes of behavior, its searching, and that it can read the dog. And that the dog performs a correct alert and can pinpoint that source of odor. And if the dog can do that and the handler can read the dog, they succeed and they pass the test and they are certified. A double blind search is important because the evaluator in the search area is also blind to it. And there is a second evaluator who is not in the search area but can observe from a distance and can alert the other evaluator who is accompanying the dog handler and the dog in that search area. So why is that useful, and why do you need another person with the dog and the handler if they don't know where the source is hidden? Because a dog and a handler can be influenced by another person who is with them, and dogs and handlers often do searches with other people, other detectives. They are very rarely out there alone doing searches. And they are sometimes cued by other people and the dogs as well. So how is that practically accomplished? It can be easily done using Bluetooth earbuds or a radio, where the evaluators share those earpieces. So when a dog alerts and they're correct, evaluator number 2, who is observing from a distance, can in real time tell evaluator number 1, who is with the dog and handler, that the dog is correct or wrong, and that information is delivered in real time to give feedback to the handler. In ways in which the dog can be influenced by other people.
Okay, so in this particular test, was this even a blind search?
No,
And again, how do we know that?
because they called it the target vehicle. It was pre-identified.
And that was known to Deputy Willis ahead of time.
Yes.
And again, why does that call the search into, or why does that question the validity of the search?
That's a known bias factor.
Okay, so what could happen if an evaluator is aware of the target vehicle during the search?
If the evaluator knows?
No, I'm sorry. What happens if the handler is aware of the target during the search?
That can come across in training?
No, during a particular search, in this case. What are you concerned about if the handler knows the target vehicle?
That's set up in training, and then that comes across operationally.
Okay. What are you concerned about? What actions by Deputy Willis were you concerned about as a result of him knowing the target vehicle ahead of time?
Queuing.
Okay. And what are examples of queuing?
Queuing.
I'm sorry, can we take down the exhibit if we're done with 610, please?
We can take down 610.
Right.
Could you please ask the question?
What are examples of queuing by a handler?
It could be, like I mentioned earlier, very critical points in time where the handler does something non-verbally that cues the dog. As far as his body movements, it could be something like lingering in a place too long, but in this case, it was when Raven had reached the end of her search around the service door, had reached the target vehicle in this case, and she turned around, which was around her endpoint, around that service door. The officer in this case also made that 180 turn himself. And started walking to the other end of the building. At that point, Raven was distracted from her search and turned around and looked at Officer Willis as well. And then she went back to the vehicle and performed her alert.
Okay. What did you note about the beginning of the search as well, as far as Raven's actions at the immediate start of the search?
That was also significant because they started at the service door where Deputy Willis put her into a sit before releasing her for a search. They were next to a group of motorcycles to the left, and Mr. Pahl's vehicle was to the right of that service door. So at that time, Raven would have had an opportunity to acquire odor that was in close proximity to where she started, and there was no change of behavior. There was no draw for her to Mr. Pahl's vehicle or to the motorcycles. And she continued with her search. She did not show any interest in Mr. Pahl's vehicle until she reached the end of her search, after she became distracted.
Just for the witness, if I could show her defense exhibit number 614, which I'll pull up. And for the witness, hopefully only.
Jamie is always working on Tuesdays.
Ms. Pescador, I'm showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 614. Is that a document you're familiar with?
Yes.
And is it a document that was originally on a napkin, but that you created, but it's been transferred into a more readable format?
Yes.
And can you describe briefly what that document is?
It is an explanation of the difference between trace material and residual odor.
You didn't miss anything. I don't know if he's not guilty. I just don't think the state has proven it beyond reasonable doubt.
As well as explaining what volatile organic compounds are.
Okay, and again, this is this is a document that you assisted in putting together, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'd ask that we publish this to the jury.
Any objection?
No.
All right, it's admitted, you may publish it.
It's because Jamie doesn't like us.
Okay.
She's mean.
And again, there's three parts to this, correct?
Correct.
You go down the page. Can you describe what the first, at the top, what that is and what it shows?
So I attempted to explain very simply that volatile organic compounds are odor that is available in the air for the dog to smell.
Okay, so a volatile organic compound could be something in the air, or it could be an actual piece of human tissue, or it could be a scent article.
No, volatile organic compounds are odor molecules in the air. That's what makes them volatile. They're in the air, available for the dog to detect.
Okay, okay. So I guess a volatile means it's airborne.
Correct.
Okay. So in this example, in the first example, what are the volatile organic compounds?
They are odor molecules in the air available for the dog to detect.
Okay. And in the top example, there's two little dots, right?
Correct.
And the number of dots has nothing to do with how many there are. It's used, for example, to show that they're in the air, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So in that example, let's say there's an item there that's giving off that odor, and then the volatile organic compound is what's above it.
Correct.
Okay. And if the item would be represented by that blue four-sided figure, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then there's a surface and there's a small line underneath it as well, correct? And we'll get into what that is as we go.
Correct.
Okay. So explain line 2 then as far as trace goes.
So that is an example, just for illustrative purposes, of what happens when you remove whatever item that may be. It could be human tissue. It could be the candy in front of you. Once you remove an item that has had contact with a surface, even though you've removed it and you don't see it anymore, if it's had contact, every contact leaves a trace, and that's Locard's exchange principle. You have trace material that could be left behind, and even though you can't see it, there could still be physical material there, and you can maybe swab for it, or even though you can't see it, it could still be there. And if there's still material there, it could off-gas. And what that off-gassing leaves behind are the odor molecules in the air to detect. And if there's still material that can off-gas, it can produce odor. And that's
Funny, I know some gas that produces odor as well.
the trace material, is whatever is left behind.
Okay. So in a case where a dog is picking up the volatile organic compounds in this type of example, does this provide a more accurate, or what's the difference in accuracy as far as confirmation of whether a hit is confirmed as far as what the dog is supposed to do? Are you able to confirm a positive dog hit, a formal hit, as a result of finding this trace?
It can help support a dog alert.
Okay. Okay. And does this assist you in pinpointing possibly where the odor that the dog picked up, where that source came from?
Yes, if you find trace material, if you find physical material, that helps confirm a dog alert.
Okay. Okay. What's the final example there? Residual. Explain
So
that.
residual odor in this illustration, can you? No, I can see it clearly.
It's up
fine.
on the board behind you as well. if
Right.
it helps.
In residual odor, what this shows is you have material that's kept in a glass. So it's not making direct contact with the surface underneath it. Once you remove that glass that contains the material, because it hasn't had direct contact with the surface underneath it, all you have left is the odor that's in the air. So the odor might have contact with the surface around it, but it's not going to last very long. And it's going to be influenced by the aerodynamics, and it can be blown away, but it's not as permanent as the trace material that's in the illustration above that, still there and is available to off-gas and continue to produce odor, at least for a short time after, depending on the quantity left behind.
Okay. So as part of your evaluation, you read the Wisconsin State Crime Lab report about the testing on Mr. Pahl's pickup truck, correct?
Correct.
And what did you learn from that crime lab report?
There was some swabbing that had been done. There was some luminol and phenolphthalein testing that had been done, and that the results had been negative.
Okay. So there was no trace that was confirmed at all, correct?
From what I recall, there was not any positive findings.
Okay. So then the conclusion basically is that this was residual. That if Raven's hit was positive, okay, and not a direct result of the cue, it was a result of residual, correct?
As I understand it.
Okay, there's no proof otherwise, correct?
Correct.
And what's your concern about the fact that that if it wasn't cued, if it wasn't because of it being at the end of the search, what is your concern about Raven's hit in that particular case?
That it is most likely a result of pre-existing odor in the building.
Okay, and that's so. And are you able to pinpoint a source at all then for that residual odor?
I can't pinpoint a source exactly.
Okay. Okay. Your Honor, I have nothing further for this witness.
All right, cross-examination.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Good morning, Ms. Pescador.
Good morning.
What did she say other than because the car was placed where it was placed, there was a chance that it thought, okay, there must be something with this one? That's what I said when the dog handler was up. Did we really have to stumble through 3 hours of this?
I guess I'll begin by going through your CV, please. Could you put up, now I gave you those numbers. 611. 611. I'm sorry, the exhibits they gave us don't match the numbering system that Mr. Wolf was
Right,
using.
I know the defense was 611. I don't know what.
I can put it up for you. Oh. That should be 611. I can pull it up.
Sorry, can you switch? Okay. You put it there on.
No, I get this one. I have it pulled up if you want to see it.
We got it, thank you. Yeah, we got it. Okay. So for the record, Your Honor, I've asked Ms. Gussie to display Exhibit 612 and page 25 of 612. Is that in front of you, Ms. Pescador?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you could please scroll down, I want to focus on the area that says Research and Special Projects. Okay.
That's 612.
612, page 25.
Okay.
That hasn't been published.
Well, we published a page or two from it. Yes, we haven't published.
I don't
I'm now-
object, yeah, I don't object to this part of that report being published.
Hang on a second.
Oh, is that what you did? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Is this 611 or 612?
I apologize. I didn't realize Mr. Wolf separated the CV and made that 611 and the report is 612. So it's my mistake. My apologies. Ms. Gussie, 611, please.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I can-
Go ahead.
Do you have 611 or no? I don't. Okay. Could you please display that? I didn't realize you separated them. I'm sorry.
Okay, what page do you want of it?
25.
Okay.
Well.
You tell me to scroll down, I'll listen, you tell me to scroll down or up.
Where it says research and special projects.
Okay.
611.
Page 25,
Well, that's what it is on the copy I have, but,
I can find it.
yeah, move up, please. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
And yeah, this is Defense Exhibit 611.
All right,
Hey,
I got it. 611, despite Ms. Opper's best efforts to confuse me.
Yes, sir.
All right.
If it's any consolation, I'm confused myself, sir. All right, Ms. Pescador, that's in front of you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and no objection to publishing for the
No
jury,
objection,
correct?
this has
Okay.
been published, sir.
Okay. All right, and a little hard to see, but you can read it in front of you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you put together this list of research and special projects that you've participated in, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And I asked you for copies of these materials, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you refused to turn them over, correct?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am?
No.
What?
Did you give them to Attorney Wolf?
No.
Who'd you give them to?
I asked for clarification on some questions, and I explained that it would have been, you asked for a large volume of research and work, and so I asked some questions about clarification.
You never turned those materials over that I asked for, did you?
I did not.
Okay. In fact, I think you said you were objecting to the relevance of my request. Isn't that similar terminology?
Similar terminology?
Yeah, didn't you say you were objecting to the relevance of my request?
No, I did not use that language.
Okay. But nonetheless, I asked for this stuff and you didn't give it to me, correct?
I'd say that's true.
Okay. Now, you've listed on here your involvement in these various things. I'd like to know what your level of involvement was. Were you the lead in these research projects? Were you assisting someone?
These are my projects.
Okay. And did you compile reports, documents?
I led these projects.
Did you compile reports or documents, ma'am?
Could you please clarify?
Sure. You have listed here item number 2, evidence of decomposition without a corpse, right?
Correct.
Says you conducted a literature review of instrumental and laboratory methods used to analyze residual odor from human decomposition. Goes on, right?
Correct.
Did you write something?
Yes.
Okay. Did not provide it to the state, though.
Correct.
Okay. The very issue we're dealing with in this case is evidence of decomposition without a corpse, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You did indicate on your CV, let me see what page I've got it on, please. Professional experience and affiliations. Bottom of page 26 on what I have.
Okay. Here we go, that?
Okay. Yep. You indicate that you're a K-9 instructor and evaluator for DNA K-9 LLC, correct?
Correct.
And that's a business that you own along with your husband?
Correct.
That's a for-profit entity, correct?
Correct.
And one of the big things you do in that business is sell training aids, right?
True.
And you sell synthetic training aids?
Not correct.
Not correct?
Right.
You sell actual human remains.
No.
What do you sell?
Tubes. I sell get sent tubes.
Yeah. Get sent tubes, which is, well, let's spell that for the court reporter.
True. Okay. Gextent.
What is that?
GET, get, GETXENT, get Zent.
Get Zent. Okay. And what is it, please?
So those are polymer tubes. They look like they're this big, about 3 inches. And they are patented technology of odor capture and release.
And where's the odor? What is the source of the odor that's contained in the tube?
The source of the odor does come from human tissue.
And that's done at some lab. That's a separate business from yours, right?
That is separate.
You're sort of like the supplier.
Of the tubes.
Yes, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You can get odor with human remains for as little as 995 Danish. That's like $150. You can get an impregnation kit. Oh my. You can get currency for 1,326 Danish. So if you are at home and you want to spice it up in the bedroom, you might want to get pest odor for 1,326 Danish. Maybe a little explosive flavor, just to get the old guy motor running. Some narcotic odor to relive those days in the 80s where you were dancing to disco and you could taste color. Just if ever you need it, I'm just saying they have it for you. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but it is an impregnation kit. Easy and safe Gentex tube impregnation CK9 patented technology. Approved by Air Force, Marines, Army, Police, global security providers, detection training centers. Efficiently impregnate your blank Gentex tubes with the impregnation kit powered by advanced TAT technology. This kits provide an easy and effective solution for impregnation, an essential tool for any get sent user. It meets all your impregnation needs with precision and convenience. They should sell this in prisons in Florida. Oh my. Oh my. You can't do that in Denmark. You can only be scattered over the seas, but you can be buried in the woods.
And you make those available to handlers around the country that are willing to pay for it, correct?
I also donate them, but yes.
Okay. And about how many do you donate versus how many you sell?
It's about equal.
About equal. Okay. And if you go to the Get Zent website, you'll see that they recommend that the handler put the tube out and leave it for about 30 minutes before they actually do a training with the dog, correct?
Correct.
And that's so that the odor has a chance to get out in the environment so that the dog can find it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yesterday you had testified about a number of acronyms, right? All these American Association of Forensic Science and things like that. You remember that testimony, ma'am?
Yes.
Are you actually a member of any of those organizations?
OSAC.
OSAC. You're a member of OSAC. Okay. The other ones, no?
It's like
No.
So you just Googled their training standards off the internet, or?
Let me correct. I'm an OSAC implementer, so I report to NIST the OSAC standards that I implement under my business.
Okay. The others you have no direct affiliation with?
No.
Okay. It's true, isn't it, Ms. Pescador, that if I pulled up the OSAC standards or the Swig Dog standards,
Thank you, Deborah, for gifting 5 memberships to Maylin, J.G. Cruz, Kerry Shankler, Yusmi, and Angel Mama. Thank you so much, Deborah.
there's nothing in there that prevents burping a vehicle prior to a search, correct?
True.
And it's true, isn't it, Ms. Pescador, that there's nothing in the standards that requires a handler to videotape or photograph a search, correct?
Not that I recall.
Okay. In fact, your own, you're affiliated with Peace River, correct?
Correct.
And their website even says, a search is not merely walking around and permitting the dog to randomly sniff an area. It involves careful fact-gathering analysis.
Don, when you read, please.
I'm so sorry. It involves careful fact-gathering, analysis, and appropriate use of tools that are employed to make existing odor available for detection by the dog. Some of the tools that might be employed to increase the availability of odor include probing/venting rods, power tools, a machete, a boat, etc. Correct?
Correct.
That is acceptable practice, correct?
Depends on the environment.
Okay. So let's talk about that environment. You compiled the list. Do we have 610? Could you please display 610? Sure.
Page 1 or page 2?
Page 1, please. Let's start at the top. All right, so you compiled this list, correct, Ms. Pescatore?
Correct.
You have good recollection of these cases as you sit here now?
Which cases?
The cases you wrote in this list.
I'm familiar with the list. I'm not familiar with all of the case details of each vehicle in this list.
Okay. You would agree with me that these vehicles, at least by case number, go back to 2016, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, we had a lot of discussion the other day. You weren't here, but we had discussion about case number.
Jeepers Christ. 8/8/2016, 2002 Pontiac Grand Prix and or Honda motorcycle. Fatal crash, left arm severed through windshield, involved in fatal crash. Then a Taurus versus a pedestrian, Explorer stolen vehicle, Ford F-250 and a Subaru Outback, deceased in driver's seat. KYMO moped, fatal crash, hit and run, Dodge Durango connected to burglary, Honda Accord involved in fatal crash, deceased in driver's seat. Chevy Equinox Gray involved in fatal crash, Chevy Impala involved in fatal crash, Buick LeSabre injury accident, Huffy bicycle found, Nissan Altima flea vehicle, theft of converter, Chrysler 300 involved in fatal crash, deceased in driver's seat. So there was a lot of, there wasn't only 2 vehicles in there that has had some kind of dead people in it.
And I'm looking at the number in the left-hand column. It's W200-32248. You see that one? It's about number 5 on the list for the moped.
Yes.
You see that, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And what is the date in the column there? What is that supposed to represent?
The date, 2020, 5/12/2020.
Yes, what does that represent?
The date of the vehicle accident.
And that's something you compiled, right?
That is what I have. Yes.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know that collision actually occurred in 2007?
Is that? Could you clarify what you're asking me?
Sure. Would it surprise you to know that the collision involving the moped actually occurred in 2007?
That is the date of the vehicle, 2020. Is that
Ma'am.
what you're saying?
No, ma'am. The date of the hit, this was a hit and run fatal injury, right?
Yes.
Somebody on a moped was struck and died, right?
Yes.
It's a cold case. We never solved it, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Goes back to 2007, correct?
That's what you're telling me?
Are you arguing with me?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You wrote down 2020, but it's really June 8 of 2007, correct?
I don't have that information in front of me.
Okay.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay.
I'll trust you.
All right. And you'd agree with me that the driver of the moped was actually ejected, landed some distance away from the moped, had no direct contact with the moped at the time of his or her death.
I don't have that information.
Would that be important to know, wouldn't it?
All I have is that it was a fatal crash, hit and run.
Right, but you're saying, hey, look, this moped was in this barn and there's somebody died on this moped, when in fact nobody died on that moped, correct?
For the moped,
Yeah.
I'm not going to dispute that.
Okay.
All I have is involved in a hit and run fatal crash.
You would agree with me, and I don't know, maybe you don't know this. Doesn't sound like it's maybe in your area of history and experience, but would you disagree with the concept that vast majority of cases involving motorcycles or mopeds, when a driver of such vehicle is struck, they are frequently ejected. They don't remain with the bike, correct?
I'm very familiar with that.
Okay. You would agree with me, the first one on the list from 2016, the driver on that motorcycle was ejected, correct? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The next one on the list,
That she didn't do her homework correctly, and she is there to accuse the other dog handler of not doing his homework correctly.
that person was not dead on scene. In fact, the vehicle that is listed there, the Ford Taurus, struck another vehicle. The person who died was a pedestrian, right? You actually do list that as a pedestrian, correct?
Pardon, can you please repeat that question?
Sure. So the vehicle, the Ford Taurus, what's your recollection of the involvement of the Taurus in the accident?
It's a fatal crash versus a pedestrian. That's the information I have.
You have the entire police report, right?
I only have parts of this.
I'm sorry?
I only have partial information.
On your chart, right? But when you made the chart, when you compiled the chart, you had the entire packet of police reports. Like this, right?
Not all of it.
What was missing?
I only have partial information of the police reports
Who'd you get the police reports from?
from the attorneys.
And you think they only gave you half the information you needed?
That's all I have is partial information from the vehicle histories in these accidents.
Okay. That Taurus never struck that pedestrian directly. Do you know that? There was another vehicle involved?
I don't recall.
You remember the pedestrian was a good Samaritan who stopped to fix a flat tire?
I remember that.
And the Taurus hit the vehicle with the flat tire, and the flat tire tragically ran over that good Samaritan who was changing the flat tire,
I remember that.
right?
Why are you laughing when you say that?
Most of these cases, and you've testified, you don't know which of these vehicles. You've only documented the vehicles involved in the collisions, right?
Correct.
You can't tell us for sure this vehicle was in that barn that day.
I stated that.
Okay. And would you agree with me that oftentimes, for an investigation or a prosecution, it's the striking vehicle, the person that's at fault, right, that is prosecuted, right?
Correct.
And that's the vehicle we would keep.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. And the vehicle where the victim died maybe has less relevance to an investigation.
So in my state, it may be different,
Okay?
but where there is death involved with the vehicle, that vehicle is also taken.
Okay. What about Wisconsin?
I'm not familiar with Wisconsin.
Okay. You would
Then
agree with
maybe
me, though, that
not-
as we go through this list, and we can go through every one of them, but it seems like that would be redundant. First of all, there's vehicles here where there was no death, right?
Serious injury.
Okay. Where do you see that?
Injury accident.
Okay. You would agree that there's a difference between a serious injury and an injury accident, correct?
Correct.
Okay. There's vehicles on here that were stolen or involved in high-speed chases, or, correct?
Correct.
Had absolutely nothing to do with anybody being injured to any extent, correct?
Correct.
And yet you put them on this list, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And let's talk about the two vehicles that, oh, wait, I'm sorry, before we move on. Could you please scroll down to the bottom of page 2, the second to last entry? Okay. You see the last one there? I'm sorry, the second last one. I apologize because Mr. Wolf added one, which we're not disputing. The second to last one, right? You listed a date of 9/19/2022, correct?
Correct.
What happened in that case?
It's fatal versus pedestrian, and there was tissue in the engine bay.
Okay. When did that occur?
I am relying on the information provided to me, which is 9/19/2022.
What time?
I don't have the time.
Okay. What time was the search done on 9/19/2022 by Investigator Willis?
I don't remember the exact time of that. It's in my report.
It's about 9:30 in the morning, wasn't it?
It was morning.
Okay.
if I ever hear that Sue Roper or Father Time is on a case, I will burn down my fiber installation before I open that case.
That last collision actually occurred about 7 o'clock in the evening on the 19th of September, correct? Does that sound familiar to you?
I don't recall.
You can do that. It's the same as a missing body case where you don't find the body, but you find tissue in the basement. You find a hacksaw that has blood on it. You find DNA on a person's clothes. You see them stuff a car with the black plastic bags, and you have the documentation of their internet searches, how to dispose of a body. Can I kill my husband for snoring? Is it illegal to unalive a husband if you've been together more than 7 years? All of those standard internet searches you'll find at home with Sue. And because you have so much circumstantial evidence that you can point and say, well, there are DNA traces that something happened. There are blood on the shirt. There's so much. In this case, the only thing you have is he kept his phone, her phone and her water bottle, and he drove her to that spot. Nothing else. And then he did the Google searches. But again, if you do a good closing, you said, well, he saw all of the police outside of the orthopedic, whatever. That's why he used the scanner app. At some point, they say, we found what we believe is a female. He went home, started Googling. You can explain all of this at least to a reasonable doubt. This is a very weak circumstantial evidence case. Because he beat her a couple of years before, there's no reason he beat me, but there's a lot of reason I want to unalive myself. And this is why I don't get why we are even going to trial with this, because it is a very weak case. But again, every time you go in front of a jury, 85 to 90% chance you will be convicted, because the state would never, ever accuse anything of something if they weren't guilty. Sadly, is the mindset of most jurors. Yeah, isn't that normally what they say? Yeah, and there was less evidence in the Zachariah Anderson case than there was in this one. So whenever you go in front of the jury, you are gambling.
It's in my report if I wrote that
Hey,
one.
Jacob.
If I included that in my report, then there would be a time.
Okay, well, it's in your list, right?
Is this in my table? I don't recall if I've included that one in my table.
The one from 9/19 of 2022? Go ahead and look. Do you have your report in front of you?
Yes, ma'am. I can look.
Sure. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So if that collision happened at 7 o'clock in the evening, it was not in the pole barn at 9:30 in the morning when investigator Willis did his search, correct?
Correct.
You should not have included that on this list, correct?
It was provided to me for inclusion, so I included it.
You didn't notice that there's no way this vehicle could have even been in the barn at the time of the search?
The time for that was not given to me, so I would not have known to not include that.
You didn't get a very basic police report with a date and time that collision occurred?
The time was not included in that information.
What did you get? What materials did you get?
I was provided a large amount of materials. The time was not included with that information.
Okay, but the date was on the information.
The date was not included with that. Or sorry, the time, pardon me.
So you got a date of a collision, but no time.
I did not have the time for that.
Do you think it'd be really, really unusual that a police report?
Well, Queen, you are in for a wild, wonderful ride. Ask as many questions as you like, because we've been doing this for almost 4 years, and we will still get surprised, but we kind of know the ropes about trial cases. And some of them are really interesting, like this one where they hire an expert, which actually could have done some damage to the state's expert, but because she looks like a deer in the headlight right now, she might actually backfire on the state, or on the defense, sorry.
Report would not include the date and time that an accident occurred? A fatal accident, nonetheless?
I'm sure that the full police report included the
Sorry, my daughter
time with the
calling.
date and a lot of information, but I did not get full comprehensive police reports.
Well, you'd agree with me, Ms. Pescador, even the most basic face sheet or front page would have the date and time and location. Very basic information would be on any police record, right?
I'm sure, I'm confident that it does, but I did not receive comprehensive or full police reports for every single case.
So what did you receive?
I received limited information for each of these.
What was the source of the information?
I received it from the attorneys.
I'm sorry, that was a bad question. Did they give you actual police documents, or did they type something up and give you a narrative of their own?
Could you rephrase that?
Yeah, let me show an example. Can you see this, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Does this look familiar? Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, this is a police report, right?
Correct.
Is this what you got from Attorney Wolf?
I did not receive something like that from Attorney Wolf.
What did you receive from Attorney Wolf?
I received a list of vehicle information, accident information, dates, vehicle numbers, and accident information with police report information from Attorney Pablo,
So he sent you basically Exhibit 610,
with more information.
but not important information that we've just discussed, correct?
Who was not comprehensive police report information.
Did you follow up and say, hey, Attorney Galaviz, I need more? There's information missing here.
It was not like a comprehensive police report information, but it was a little more than this.
So your answer is no. You didn't ask Mr. Galaviz for more information, correct?
I'm sorry, could you please rephrase that?
Sure. You did not ask Attorney Galaviz for any more information about any of these vehicles in the pole barn, correct?
I can't recall. I have asked him for more information on several different subjects, including vehicles.
Okay.
But I can't recall if I specifically asked more about police reports for this.
Okay. So you said Detective Willis did not document any of this in his report, correct?
Correct.
But that's actually not accurate, is it? He did note that he was told the other vehicles in the barn were involved in fatal collisions, some of them, correct?
At the time of my report, I don't believe that's true.
You saw the police report that Investigator Willis authored, correct?
Which one?
The report that Investigator Willis authored. Did you see that?
The search report?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Could you please put up Investigator Willis' report for the witness only? Exhibit 123 is being displayed to the witness. You see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, page 1, and it's in the third paragraph on the page, the large paragraph on the bottom half of the page.
It's always nice when your daughter asks for, hey, that recipe for the birthday cake, can you send it to me? I think I send it to her every year.
About halfway down, says he was informed some of the vehicles were involved in fatal crashes, correct?
Correct.
And you reviewed, didn't you, a report from Detective LaFleur documenting some of the vehicles that were in that barn, correct?
I don't recall reviewing a document from Detective LaFleur.
You didn't get that from Attorney Galaviz?
Not that I recall.
Okay. In fact, she was providing specificity for the two vehicles which Raven showed a change of behavior on. You remember reading that report?
Not that I recall.
Well, that would be an important piece of information for you to have had in your analysis, correct?
At the time that I wrote this report, I didn't receive that I can remember.
Have you received it since?
I'm sorry, not that I remember.
Okay. Maybe you don't know the answer to this then, but of your list on Exhibit 610, do you know which two vehicles are the ones that Raven showed a change of behavior to?
Is this regarding, okay, I remember this. This is regarding a Dodge Grand Caravan.
Answer the question, please, ma'am.
I'm sorry, can you please rephrase?
Sure. On list 610, Which are the vehicles that Raven showed a change of behavior on? Can you identify
This is like watching blind people box.
them for the jury?
I don't have list 610 in front of
Oh,
me.
I'm sorry. I guess we have to go back to defense table, please, because I don't have 16.
Yes, it's on mine. There's 2 pages, so if you want to ask her if there's any other.
Sure. First, Attorney Wolf is displaying page 2 of 2. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Can you identify for the jury if any of these vehicles were the ones that Raven showed a change of behavior on?
No.
Okay, page 1. Oops, can you scroll so she can see the whole thing? The bottom's a little cut off there. Okay. Can you identify for the jury which of this list of vehicles Raven showed a change of behavior on from page 1?
Not specifically.
Okay. Now, you spent a lot of time, I'm sorry, I wanted to ask you about the last chart that Mr. Wolf put up that I guess you told the jury you drew it on a napkin, right?
True.
Okay, and then he typed it up for us?
True.
Okay. That was 614. You testified that every contact leaves trace, correct?
True.
Every contact between one item to another would leave trace.
True.
And it's true, isn't it, Ms. Pescador, that when the canine alerts, gives a trained formal alert, you don't know if that dog is detecting actual human remains, trace material, residual material. You just know the dog hits on what it's been trained to hit on, correct?
That could be the case.
Well, that is the case, right?
I can't say that.
Does your dog speak English?
It could be that it's smelling the target odor it was trained to indicate on, but that is not always the case.
My point is, let's say it's a training exercise, okay? Let's say we all know, Investigator Willis went out in the woods and hid a bone from a human, decomposing human remains, right? Let's assume that fact, right? And then he removes that bone, right? Raven goes out there and she hits right in that area. And we all know it's a good hit because we all saw him do it, right? Correct?
Correct.
Okay, you're shaking your head, yes, but the court reporter can't take down head shakes, so you have to verbally answer my question.
Of course, yes.
Thank you. When an actual search is done in the field and a dog hits, you don't know if they're alerting to a trace odor or a residual odor, correct?
Correct.
Now, you spent a lot of time talking about blind searches and double blind searches, correct?
Correct.
Those are training methods, correct?
Correct.
Those aren't used for real searches in the field.
They're always blind in the field.
Yeah, exactly. Even in this case, right? Nobody knew.
effing.
Not Investigator Willis, not Detective LaFleur, not Detective Plennis, not Detective Fredericks. Nobody knew if there was an odor of decomposing remains in Mr. Pahl's truck, correct?
Nobody knew. Correct.
Not until Raven told them it was there, correct?
Correct.
And in your report, you use words, and I noticed you did this on your direct examination too. Well, he may have cued Raven, right?
Correct.
Or possibly there was cross-contamination, right?
True.
You don't know for sure.
That's true.
In your direct examination, you would say things like, I observed, correct?
Correct.
But in fact, you weren't there, right?
Correct.
So when you're saying, well, I observed that Raven turned at the exact same time Investigator Willis turned, what are you basing that on?
On what
Me
I
too.
read, I observed it in my reading.
Okay, so could we put up 123 again, please? And I'd like to go to page 2 of 123. And under the heading that says search 1, okay, you're with me, and the third paragraph, the third full paragraph, it starts out, K9 Raven continued. Ms. Pescador, would you read that paragraph, please, to yourself? And you see the third sentence there. Starts out, I observed a clear change of behavior from K9 Raven. You see that?
Yes.
And in fact, what Investigator Willis reported was that there was a change of behavior, an abrupt 180 turn by Raven, and then, after Raven quickly went back to that rear bumper area, that's when he began to walk away, correct?
This is missing context.
Pardon me?
It's missing context from the other documents I examined.
What else is there?
The testimony from the handler
Okay. You weren't there, correct?
at the search?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Harry, I am so envious of you that you can just speed through all of this nonsense. Oh my God, this is bad.
You opine that Raven may have been distracted by that movement from Investigator Willis, correct?
What do you mean?
You offered an opinion that that maybe distracted Raven.
Correct.
Okay. Did you see Investigator Willis's testimony before this court?
What do you mean?
Investigator Willis testified here last week. You're aware of that, right?
Last week?
Yes.
No.
You didn't know Investigator Willis testified as part of the state's case?
Well, I know that he would be, but I saw none of that. I read his, the document that I was provided for this report, which was his Daubert hearing, his testimony for that.
Transcript from a pretrial motion, right?
Correct.
Okay. Jury's not here for that, right?
Correct?
Okay. But you didn't see his testimony last week?
Correct?
Were you present for it?
No.
Did you watch it online?
No?
You could have, right?
I guess I could have.
Okay. You know, at that Daubert hearing, the defense had a different expert witness, correct, that testified?
I'm aware of that.
That witness offered an opinion that there was no cueing by
Your
Investigator
Honor,
Willis,
objection for
correct?
relevance and admissibility and hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Just smile and wave. Smile and wave, boys.
Training records, you were very critical of Investigator Willis's training records, correct?
I wouldn't say critical.
Okay. One of your observations, we'll call it, was that you only had 1 year's worth of training records to review, correct?
Correct.
Did you ever ask for more?
I asked why there weren't more.
Did you ask for more?
Yes?
Did you get them?
No?
Who'd you ask?
The attorneys?
Okay. Are you aware of the fact that the reason Investigator Willis only provided 1 year of training records is because prior counsel for Mr. Pahl
Your
set
Honor, I'll
that
object
range?
for relevance and hearsay and admissibility.
Overruled.
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure. Let me ask you this.
How would she know what prior counsel has done? She has not been contacted by prior counsel.
You know, because you read the transcript from the pretrial motion, that there were some different attorneys representing Mr. Pahl at one point, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, do you know that those attorneys asked for 1 year's worth of training
Your Honor,
records?
I'll object. She, basically, Attorney Opper is testifying to things she already said she doesn't know.
Overruled. Can you answer the question, ma'am?
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure.
Marissa, go back to work. You don't want to be here today. Today is Sue Upper is yelling day.
Do you know the reason you only got 1 year's worth of training records from Investigator Willis is because that's what the defense asked for?
The previous attorneys?
Yes.
That is not what I'm trying to answer this properly. I
Okay.
apologize. That was not what I recall and remember Officer Willis testifying to, and I apologize. I don't want that to be hearsay.
Okay. So you really don't know why you
Let's-
were only given 1 year's worth?
Correct.
Okay. That's fair. All right, if you could please put up, well, Attorney Wolf, would you please kindly display 612 again for the witness?
Absolutely.
And I'd like to direct your attention to page 5 of 612. You have 612? Oh, do you want Ms. Bessie to do it? She's got it
That's fine.
handy. Okay. Page 5, please. And I'm going to ask to publish this page 5 to the jury, please, Your Honor.
And I'll object for relevance.
Overruled. You may.
Ms. Pescador, how much were you paid for your work in this case?
In total, about $13,000.
Okay. And you included this information in your report here?
Correct.
You aware of the fact that Investigator Willis receives no compensation for his work in this case?
Correct.
Are you aware that he is a paid employee of the state, so he does get paid? He was getting salary while he was on the stand. Stop implying that witnesses are paid to say what they're saying. You have called multiple police officers. Each one of them got paid to be on the stand because they are police officers. It's a ridiculous, stupid statement. And in my opinion, there should be a common rule in America that you're not allowed to invoke it in a criminal case, because then everyone should declare, I am getting paid X to sit here today. Do you know, Sue Arbor, you're getting paid to be in the case? Do you know your co-counsel is getting paid to sit in the case? Do you know the court reporter is getting paid? Do you know the jury is getting paid? Do you know the judge is getting paid? This is an absolute bullshit argument that someone is getting paid to do their job. You are trying to imply that people are sneaky and lying for money. You should not be allowed to use this in a criminal case where people are under the pains of perjury. This is BS 1000 billion%. And I hate it. It comes up in every case. How much are you getting paid to be here? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That the state of Massachusetts wasted $500,000 on the Blue Man Group, even though it's ridiculous, shouldn't be an argument, because it's not an argument, because their report is for the defense to look at and then attack. It's not that they are good at getting money for doing what they do. That is between the employer and the employee. I hate that argument. It shouldn't be allowed in any courtroom to ask anyone, how much are you paid? Let's go back and ask, hey, Brian Higgins, how much were you paid as a cop? Well, $300,000. Well, your base salary was $155,000. How did you make $300,000? Well, we have this overtime. I worked a lot of hours overtime. It's bullshit, and I hate that lawyers, both sides, ever bring it up. It has no relevance either. It's trustworthy, and you said she was an expert. You believed her when she said she was an expert. Don't fucking ask about her payment. If someone wants to pay her a $50 an hour and other people want to pay her $500 an hour, it shouldn't matter. Either she's an expert and you qualified her as an expert, or she's not an expert. I hate the argument, and I wish someone would raise an objection to it at some point and get it in front of Supreme Court, that you are not allowed to imply that they are paid to have an opinion. I know a shit ton of people are, especially those DV experts who will come with the wheel of DV, but still, you shouldn't ask them about it. Brennan was ADA. He had nothing to do with being paid to testify.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to have you do the redirect, but it's 10 o'clock and 9:58. Let's take a break till about 10:15, okay?
All right, he told me we don't know. Dog hit on those vehicles. Something, Judge.
I'll ask him again about that.
Sorry?
Redirect at 10:15. And in the meantime, I want you to continue your discussions with Mr. Pahl about his right to testify or not to testify. And I do, before the jury comes back, so I have an idea of where we're going to go, I'll ask him again about that issue. The defense was given, Mr. Bailiff, how much time after court yesterday? Half an hour?
Yeah, it was shortly after 5.
About at least half an hour, and at least half an hour this morning. And so you have a little bit more time, and I expect that should be sufficient time for him to answer the questions I'll have for him. So when we come back after the break, that's the first thing we'll take up before having Ms. Pescador return. Okay? Anything else from the state?
No.
Mr. Galaviz?
There's one thing, Judge, regarding that garage police reports. My name was mentioned by the prosecutor as to how I got that to Ms. Pescador. I think the jury should know that initially, when I got on this case in April, I noticed something wrong with the garage search. So I asked the prosecutors, could you please let me know what vehicles were in the garage at the time of the search? To identify those vehicles. They had no idea what those vehicles were. So I said, could you check with the sheriff's department? Because apparently that dog alerted on 2 vehicles. They asked apparently Deputy LaFleur. She had no idea what vehicles the dog alerted on. So we asked them, could you please get us those reports? They said they didn't have the reports, so we had to request the reports ourselves. So I got those reports, and I asked them, could you please have Detective LaFleur, review these reports and let us know which vehicle that the dog hit or semi-hit on in the garage. And she had no idea, Detective LaFleur, which vehicle the dog hit on. So then we got the report that the dog hit on the Caravan or this other vehicle. So then I asked, well, where were those vehicles parked in the garage? The ones that the dog apparently walked by. They had no idea. They don't know where those vehicles were parked, whether they're close to Mr. Mr. Paul's vehicle, or are they farther away? They have absolutely no idea where any of these vehicles were in the garage, or if these vehicles were in the garage. And again, I had to like pull teeth from them to get these police reports. So I'm upset, basically, the way this picture that Ms. Oppers played with this witness regarding like these reports and how, like, I mean, it lays the wrong picture, and she knows it, I think. I don't know why she's playing games with this witness. I'll be glad to testify and explain to the jury exactly how I had to pull teeth from this office over here to get these reports, and how no one at that table or the detectives knew anything about these other vehicles that were involved in fatals. When I asked them, were any of these vehicles involved in fatals, and they, I think, honestly told me, we don't know, until I got this report. And then I told them, I said, you know, a lot of these other vehicles, plus the motorcycles that were right by Mr. Paul's vehicle, were involved in fatals. In fact, a couple of those motorcycles were embedded into the back of a truck where the occupant died sitting on the motorcycle. And another motorcycle was involved in the hit and run where part of his arm went through the windshield of the other vehicle. They had no idea that those vehicles were in the garage. So I'm not happy with the way Ms. Opper is attacking this witness, making her look like she's not aware of how these reports got in her hands, or what she was given or not given. I think I should testify if I need to. I think she's going over the line with this witness and trying to attack her, and inappropriately.
I believe the term was change of behavior. There wasn't any other hit other, or TFA is, I think, the term. So whatever you think you need to do, I'll leave it up to you. All right, see you.
Well, that's quite a good point, that she's standing there and putting the blame on the defense team for not giving her all the information. But the defense team didn't even get the information from the prosecutor, because the prosecutor didn't know what cars had been involved in anything either. And if he had gotten a piece of paper saying that car was in the garage, and it later turns out that it wasn't, that's on the prosecution team. That's not on him. That's bad information given by the prosecutors. Did he just say he would testify? Yeah, he would testify to the prosecutor not turning over the evidence, that they just impeach his witness by not knowing the details of that evidence. Recross is going to be worse than direct, I believe. Well, not recross. Redirect is going to be bad. But hopefully they can get it out there, because they are really bad at their job. I really despise both teams in this case. And I think if we had a decent set on both sides, this case could have been an interesting, good case. But sadly, it has just evolved into anything but who killed this woman. We're talking more about how much training someone had 5 years before anything. And sadly, that's just not what we're here for. We are here to try and figure out, did he or didn't he do it? But that's the least we have been looking at. And I'm going to end the poll. 113 people, 72% says new case. Okay. Right now, there are 2 cases that started yesterday, I believe, that we then potentially could do hey, get into it and let's rerun it. There are the there is the Uriah Ulrich case out of out of Texas. That is where 2, again, I haven't dug that deep into it, but I believe it's 2 teenagers where they unalived her grandmother because she had some inheritance or something coming in. It's her boyfriend who is being charged in this one. We can do that a day later, and then there was what's the other case? There was another case, a case out of. Shut up! Shut up! That's not the one I want. Where the hell is that one? Why doesn't that show up? No, I don't want to do that. That's a 6-year-old, so I don't want to do that one. We have had enough kids lately. There is. Wasn't there another one starting yesterday? Yes, and then there is one out of Tennessee where a preacher got pew-pewed, potentially by his girlfriend. I think that was supposed to start, but I can't see it in my feed. Thought it was starting yesterday or starting today. Don't the big channels have it, so I don't have to fight some stupid channel who copyright strike me. Law and Crim Network hasn't had a trial on for months. Where the hell is it? Is Court TV gonna cover it? It doesn't look like Court TV is having it either. Well, I can go back. I shared it. Where the hell did I share it from? Oh, it's going to start today. That's why. There is another case that's the Latoshia Shonta Daniels, who is on trial in Tennessee for unaliving a Memphis pastor, Brody Perry, and trying to unalive his wife, Tabitha Perry. She allegedly went to their house and was let in, had a 10-minute conversation with the pastor, and pulled out a pew-pew and said, "You broke my heart." Put 5 new holes in him, and I believe she's been incarcerated ever since, and has published self-help books from prison, because hey, who knows more than about self-help? If you're gonna unalive your pastor, you should know something about self-help. I want to do a Cardi B. Hello. I haven't clipped that one. But those are the 2 cases that potentially. I was listening into part of the teen killer case yesterday. The audio was one of those where it's picked up through a different mic. You can hear what's going on. There's just a lot of. And because the Tennessee case hasn't started yet, I don't know why, how it's going to be. Yeah, and Robin Rowe, I think it's a stupid question, because everyone is getting paid to do their job, and you're just trying to imply that they are getting paid to have a special opinion. So and they most. Hey, I'm not saying that experts can't be bought. You can go expert shopping and get an expert, like we saw in the Waffle House case. Someone who clearly always see all women as victims of DV, because she was not there to be an expert. She was an advocate. Anyone who calls themselves an advocate, in my opinion, shouldn't be allowed to be experts, because they have an agenda. But even though she was paid, I don't know, $325 an hour, I think, as long as she's qualified as an expert, she's qualified as an expert. It doesn't matter that she get paid or she doesn't get paid. That's, in my opinion, it's trying to imply dishonesty by saying, "Well, you're just here because you get paid, right?" And you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Yes, that's a 6-year-old kid. I will not cover that. I said that 5 minutes ago. I don't want to cover another child murder right now. Can we put the kids out of here? I've had 3 this year, so please go watch it with someone else. I'm not going to cover it. Well, that's the thing I'm saying. Every police officer should then say, I'm getting paid $101 an hour, or I'm getting paid $20 an hour. How much they are? Sue Roper should say, I am getting paid $250 an hour, or whatever she's getting paid. Because the court reporter doesn't work for free. It's the same when people say, well, we want free transport. Well, you can't get free transport. I don't know if you do that in America. A lot of people in Denmark are saying, we want free buses and free trains. Well, you can't get anything for free. Everything costs money. Even though the popo is just doing it on the clock, they are still getting paid for being on the clock. There's no difference. You buy the expert to do a job, and it costs what an expert costs. Some people buy expensive experts, some buy cheap expert, but as long as you qualify them as an expert, you shouldn't be allowed to impeach them that they get paid to be an expert. Well, we're not going to see it today. Let's do this. Some expert will outright lie, though. I saw it on my personal injury case. Shocked to me that a doctor would blatantly lie. I wonder. Well, that's for the court to then charge them with perjury after. It has nothing to do with their monetary or whatever gains. If you catch them in a lie, they should be impeached. It has nothing to do with what they get paid. It's if they testified for the other side, it's for your lawyers to them impeachment and say you're lying. She is not good in this case. She is really bad in this case. She seems to not have a good grasp on this case. She was good in the Daryl Brooks. When I saw her, I thought this is going to be great because she's a great prosecutor. She has been less than stellar in this case. What's the problem if your socks are matching? Is it because you want to go out and be a hippie and have 2 different socks on? Marissa, you're 23 years old. Your fun times are over where you had a Snoopy sock on one foot and then Charlie Brown on the other. Get the real socks on. Woodstock is a town outside of New York. It's not a sock. Must I tell you everything? Bum, 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 bum. No, this is a break that was supposed to be over 5 minutes ago. We don't call Snoopy Snoopy in Denmark. That's why I don't know what all the weird names are. What the hell is Snoopy called in Danish? In Danish, it's called nuser. Nuser is also kind of if someone is doing something that's kind of cute. If you want to say in an endearing way, oh, look how he is wrinkling his nose. It's so nuser. That means, oh, it's so adorable. It's so cute. It's probably something women would say more than men, because men would say, why the hell is he? Is he frowning at me? Do I need to fight him? But nuser means something cuddly, adorable, nice little thing that, and that's what we call snooper, the Snoopy. Well, I'm not yelling. I'm just talking loudly. What dot nuser? It's just Snoopy. Snoopy is called nuser. Holly Mac is nuser. Yes, he flies his doghouse. But again, a lot of these characters have names that we don't use because back in the day we'd translate everything. It's the same with Donald Duck. We call him Anders And. That's what we call him. In Norway, they call him, I can't remember. It's something weird. So it's sometimes a little hard to use the same names. Snoopy is named Snoopy in Norwegian, but the kids have different names. The show itself is called Knutterne, which is an affectionate name for little children. Maybe you delete Twitter. Well, he apparently broke someone's heart. Is it Sweden who has Krikke N or whatever his name is? Well, we call him Mickey Mouse in Denmark. He didn't leave Twitter. He got banned off of Twitter. And yesterday he was talking about how he was stressed out and had a depression. So I don't think you're quite right. Yeah, I know it's been going on forever. That's why I wanted to be a rule that you can't ask about it, because it's irrelevant. Everyone's getting paid to be in a courtroom, except well, in Denmark, even civilian witnesses will actually be paid. If you come in, let's say you were out drinking and you saw someone get punched and you are called as a witness, you will then be paid nothing. It's like 12, 15 bucks, but you will get 10, 15 bucks to come testify. And if you have to drive a substantial distance, you will get your transportation reimbursed as well. No, not even a substantial. I think it's more than 2 kilometers, which will be roughly 6 inches. If you go more than 2 kilometers, you will be paid something like, how much is that? I think you'll get something like a quarter or something like that. A quarter a kilometer, you'll be reimbursed. No, it's probably more now. I don't know how much you get paid to do it. I just get my tally whenever I'm getting paid. But even as a civilian witness, you will be given a small amount of money to come and testify. Police officers won't do it. We don't use experts. If we use any experts, it's you're going to call a doctor who has knowledge about this case, and they will come in and testify about it. We don't have these paid experts that you have, because we believe a doctor is a doctor. You don't need to have gone to this school or that school. A doctor is a doctor, so we don't waste 45 hours qualifying someone. If you're a dog handler, we believe that you're a dog handler because, hey, you work with the dogs. That's what you do. But we don't have this rent an expert. We just pay people what we pay them.
More time than I usually would have. What's going on, Mr. Galavis or Mr. Wolf?
Regarding Mr. Pahl testifying, I think he finally has an answer.
Okay, then I'll talk to him in just a second. And what about the concerns that you had, Mr. Galavis?
Mr. Wolf is drafting, I think, agreed facts or something. He spoke of Ms. Hopper, so he was doing something regarding his conversations with Ms. Hopper.
Ms. Hopper, what's up from your perspective?
Yeah, I just had suggested or offered that if there was some kind of agreement we could reach or a stipulation as to the materials that Ms. Pescador reviewed. I don't know what she reviewed, but I was willing to look at that and see if, in lieu of Attorney Galavis testifying.
Should we do a poll? We can't do a poll. We have another poll going. One in chat if you think it's a good idea for him to take the stand. 2 if you think it's a bad idea. Let's do it that way, because not if he's going to do it, if he's not. At this point, would you recommend to your client that he took the stand and testified in this case, potentially getting him in front of Sue Roper and the cross-examination?
Which obviously that's their choice, but I just...
But that's problematic because the Supreme Court rules are SCR 20:3.7, if you want to take a look at it. I don't know if you've had it reviewed it, Mr. Galavis. And again, I don't know whether or not you need to testify, but that's something that we can talk about. But first of all, anyway, that's the operative Supreme Court rule. And then there's an ethics opinion that was just issued, EF-25-01, issued June 6th of 2025, pertaining to lawyers as witnesses. And I'm just going to read the synopsis. And this is just the synopsis. It says, in general, a lawyer may not testify as a fact witness at a trial at which they also appear as an advocate for a client, nor if they are likely to be necessary witness, nor if they are likely to be a necessary witness may the lawyer choose to forego testifying to continue in an advocacy role. And again, it references Supreme Court Rule 20:3.7a. A witness is necessary if their testimony is critical for the client's case and unavailable from other sources. Protecting the integrity of and public confidence in the judicial system and avoiding jury confusion over the lawyer's role are the most common justifications for the rule. Because the rule protects the integrity of the justice system rather than only the interests of the parties, informed consent does not prevent disqualification of the lawyer or exclusion of their testimony. That's a summary, and I'll get to that in a minute. So, Mr. Pahl, I asked you a bit earlier about your decision
Let's just say consensus seemed to be that he shouldn't take the stand.
to testify. The first thing I'm going to ask, do you think you've had enough time to talk to your attorney, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Pull this microphone closer. And you said, yeah, you've had enough time to talk to him, right?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand that you have a constitutional right to testify?
Yes, I do understand that.
And do you understand you have a constitutional right not to testify?
Yes.
Do you understand that the decision whether to testify is for you to make, not your lawyer's decision?
Yes, I do.
And has anybody made any threats or promises to you to influence your decision?
No.
Have you discussed your decision whether or not to testify with your attorneys?
Yes.
Have you made a decision?
Yes.
What is your decision, sir?
Well, I think Opera's too good at fabrication, so I don't think it would be a good idea for me to testify.
Okay. And Mr. Wolf or Mr. Gallagher, attorneys?
Yes.
Have you made a decision?
Yes.
What is your decision, sir?
Well, I think Opera's too good at fabrication, so I don't think it would be a good idea for me to testify.
Okay.
Oh. Shots fired. Pew pew. That's Sue, you would do stuff like that if you were on trial.
Okay. And Mr. Wolfer or Mr. Gallies, I think you were talking to him. Have you had sufficient opportunity to thoroughly discuss the case and the decision whether to testify with your client?
Yes, sir. I have talked to Mr. Paul about this subject many times.
And are you satisfied that he's making the decision knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, and do you believe you've had more than enough time, Mr. Gallies? You said you talked to him a number of times.
Yes, sir. I have
And-
plenty of time.
And just both yesterday afternoon and this morning as well, and then during the break?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Next question. Will they be ready to go for closing arguments today? Because remember, they asked yesterday, do you want closing arguments tomorrow? If he chooses not to testify, if he chooses to testify. And the judge said, yeah, you better be ready. I don't think any of side. I think they'll ask for more time.
based on the statements made by Mr. Paul and the information provided by Mr. Galaviz, I'll find at this time that Mr. Paul has knowingly, freely, intelligently, and voluntarily made a decision, and that decision that he's not going to testify. And I'll note that, I've had, Mr. Paul appears to be doing what he can to assist his attorneys. He's taking notes, he's writing questions. Mr. Paul, what's your level of education, sir?
I've had some college.
Okay, and again, he's a person who is able to freely communicate effectively and efficiently in the English language. I've heard his recordings of his remarks with interrogators and so on. He seems to be an intelligent man, well-spoken, and very cognizant and aware of his surroundings and the proceedings that he's involved in.
They have no more witnesses. She was the last witness and the dog handler. We just need the redirect of her, hopefully no recross, and then it should be closing arguments. It's 10:30, right? Because it's Wisconsin time. So they're probably gonna send the jury out and then start closing arguments at 1. I don't think that they are ready to go right now.
So again, I'll find that his decision is made knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily, that he's not going to testify. All right. Now, let's get back to this issue. Is there something that, Mr. Wolf, that you're working on, some agreement or stipulation about this issue, about what the witness received for her testimony?
Your Honor, yes, and what I've given the state is just maybe a list of agreed upon facts that could be presented to the jury.
All right.
About that process, obviously, in light of what the court stated, and obviously making every effort to not create an issue about whether or not Attorney Galaviz testifies or not testifies.
All right, and you've given that to Ms. Opper?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Opper, have you had a chance to look at it?
Yes, I'm close to completing my review of it, Your Honor.
I'll give you a minute then or two.
Okay,
And you can talk to Mr. Wolf too.
Yes, the criticism was not directed at Attorney Galaviz. It was challenging the basis of the witness's opinion.
I understand, but if you're working on a stipulation,
Okay.
finish that up.
It was a criticism. You claimed that they didn't give her all the necessary documents. Did they do the charging conference and jury instructions? I know the judge said yesterday he was writing some preliminary basic jury instructions. So, yeah, they might need to take that up, but then we can go get this done, and they can give the jury a nice long lunch, and then you can they can come back at 1 and get going, and this judge doesn't mind going late. So maybe you can get a verdict today. Oh, I should have had some verdict Lego. I blame Sue. Baba Papa was a good show. I remember seeing that when I was a kid. With the elephant family. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with him. He looks like he's been really sick. I'm right. You didn't remind me that I need to get some Verdict Lego. So you stand corrected. Can we get some audio? Why would you have a citrus stripper? And how does a citrus strip? We are all circumstantials. Oh, Baba, yeah, that's the elephant, not Baba Papa. What the hell was Baba Papa? Was that the weird pear-shaped thingies? Yeah, that's the weirdos. That's Baba Papa. I don't remember that from my childhood. Well, I remember it, but I don't think I ever watched it. And then you had Baba the elephant. I remember that one. That was on. I think it was on when I was a kid. Maybe it was when my kids were kids. But I remember I watched it. Not my favorite TV show. I like G.I. Joe and stuff like that. Anyone ever watched the Mummy Trolls? I don't know what you call it. These weirdos. That was a weird show. There was a horror. There was some weirdos who would come out of the woods at night, and it was really weird. I think it's either Finnish or Swedish, so that's why it's weird, because they're weird people. But they're kind of cute. Little My. If you want to decorate your children's room with it, you can get these stickers. It's very Finnish. Okay. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power. And then Battle Cat was, and then it became Battle Cat. Well, the TV show is kind of weird because I can't remember what's the name of the. I can't remember who it is who lives in the forest, but they come out. They're really scary. What? Can't remember what the name of them are. The Mummies, Swedish. The central character in a series of novels, short stories, picture books, and a comic strip used by the Finnish writer and illustrator Tove Jansson. Originally published in Swedish by the Finnish publisher Schlitt. They are a family of white, round fairy tale characters with large snouts that makes them resemble the hippopotamus. However, despite their resemblance, the Mummy family are trolls who live in a house in Mummy in Valley. Between 45 and 93, 9 books were released in the series, together with 5 picture books and a comic strip. The Mummies have inspired numerous television series, films, and 3 theme parks: Mummy World in Naantali, Finland, and Mummy Valley Park and Akebono Children's Forest Park in Hano Saitama, Japan. There are 2 different stories on how the term Mummy Troll was invented. On one occasion, explained the term Mummy Troll was originally coined during her childhood by her uncle to deter the young Jansen from taking food from his pantry, blah, blah, blah. I want to figure out who the ones are in the woods. Why? Who are the mean ones in the woods? Come on now. Oh my, he has a pew-pew. There was some... Where the hell are they? They were not mentioned, were they? The names are the Mummies, the main protagonist, and a little boy of the family interested in and excited about everything he sees and finds, always trying to be good, but sometimes getting into trouble while doing so. He always tries to be brave and find a way to make his friends happy. Mummy Papa, orphaned as in his younger years, he is somewhat restless soul who left the orphanage to venture into the world in his youth, but had now settled down, determined to make a responsible father to his family. Mummy Mama, the calm mother who takes care of the Mummy house, wants everyone to be happy. Little My, a mischievous little girl who lives in the Mummy house and has a cynical, spunky personality. She sometimes does mean things on purpose. She finds messiness and untidiness exciting. Sniff, a creature who lives in the Mummy house. He likes to take part in everything, but is afraid to do anything dangerous. Snork Maiden, Mummy's friend. She's a happy and energetic, but often subtly changes her mind on things. She loves nice clothes and jewelry, and is a little flirtatious. Snufkin, the Mimble, the Snork. Too Chicky, a wise woman and good friend of the family. She has a boyish look with a blue hat and a red striped shirt. She dives straight into action to solve dilemmas. Oh yeah, they hibernate, and that's where the evil ones come out. Stinky, a small furry creature that always played jokes on the family in the house where he sometimes lived. I don't know. What are the evil ones known? Yes, but that's good. Baker, I don't believe you're 27. I remember the same cartoons and I'm 28 twice. Well, I saw it on reruns, but thank you so much, Pixie. Implying I'm not 27. What's the next thing? Can we agree that Alf was creepy? I liked Alf. Alf was a fun show. Anyone from Australia here? I met the guy who was a puppeteer in Bill. I don't know. Alf was cool. Yeah, but I don't know. No, the Ewoks had nothing to do with this universe. I'm glad that my kids watched the Powerpuff Girls, but I never had to watch it. Of course, I know Olsen Gang. That's a national treasure. Sadly, they tried to make a remake of it when they were old, and one of the characters actually died while filming the show, and the rest, Olsen, that the gang was named after, died right after. And it was horrible to see these old people trying to act like they did once. But no, that's we call them people comedies in Denmark, and They are played regularly on TV, but they're good. Well, most of them are good. Thank you, Vilu. It's Hattivatti in Finnish. Hattivatti. Thank you for 2 years, Vilu. The snorks were the weird ones. I just remember the Grok was the bad one in Moomies. It's probably something else, but I just remember because there were little ghosts that came out of the woods and everyone was scared, and because they hibernated in the winter and then they would always wake up and these evil things was out there. Oh, it was so... Ooh. Did anyone watch Pippi Langstrømpe or Pippi Longstocking? That was a good show with the two neighbor kids and her horse and her little monkey, and that was a fun show. I watched that a lot as a kid. I love Dungeons and Dragons. Sadly, I think it got 1 season. That was a good show. You are 6 days behind. We are on day 6. We're just filling time talking about old cartoons because they went on a 15-minute break 45 minutes ago. You love Pippi. Captain Caveman. I don't know that one. Of course you watch Pippi Langstrømpe. I watch Alf every day. I loved it as a kid, and it's one of those shows that's always made me laugh. I love Punky Brewster too. I don't know Punky Brewster. H.R. Puffenstuff. Don't say anything to me. I like the Pink Panther as well. Still watch it with my granddaughter. That's a pretty good show as well. Oh, interesting. Hopefully someone can draw it. I wasn't a fan of the She-Ra spin-off. Dinosaurs is another... It wasn't played that much in Denmark. I remember seeing it. I liked it. I thought it was funny. And then, of course, you had Fraggle Rock. I think that's what you call it. We just call them the Fraggles. That was a fun show. I like that as well.
And the jurors are not present, and I've received a document that says stipulated and agreed facts, and there are 7 agreed upon facts that the defendant, along with Mr. Wolf and Ms. Opper, agreed to, and signed by each of the parties. My understanding, how do we want to handle this?
Read it to the jury, right?
I think, Your Honor, upon the conclusion of Ms. Pescador's testimony, you can read it.
All right, and is that what you want?
Who's the one with the long hair?
That's agreeable, Your Honor.
Or
And
do you want it right away, right up front?
I don't.
Let me
The
read it after her testimony.
plaid shirt
It
around
makes
her
more
waist,
sense.
his waist.
Your Honor, I'd actually ask the court to read it before I begin my redirect.
Okay, all right, we'll bring her in, we'll bring the jurors in, and I'll read this to the jurors. That's
Yes.
what you want,
Yes.
Ms. Hopper?
Agreed.
Okay, very
Not
good.
the
And,
mama.
again,
Not
I'll
the
note it was
mama.
signed by Mr. Wolf, Mr. Pahl, and Ms. Hopper. Mr. Pahl, you did sign this, sir?
Yes,
All right, and did you do so freely and voluntarily?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good, let's bring him in.
Goes. I don't think we called it that in
And bring your
Danish.
witness in, sir. Mr. Wolf.
I will.
See you later, Jason. Blossom was a thanks God it's Friday lineup. I remember watching Blossom. But it was back when we started having cable. There was Blossom, there was Full House. Maybe we watched Full House in German. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think I watched that in German as well. What else did we have? Then we had Sky Channel. They had
on up,
On
man.
Saturdays, they would have G.I. Joe, and then they would have wrestling, and they would have He-Man. What's the next one?
And I'm gonna just.
They had
explain
like
to
2
the
hours
witness
that
what's
would go
gonna
on
happen
repeat.
Before she begins to testify.
Okay.
I'm gonna be reading the stipulation to the jurors first before Mr. Wolf starts to ask you questions, okay?
Oh, Bewitched, I watched some of that, but not Bewitched.
All rise for the jury.
The one with the one from Beverly Hills. Remember Care Bears when they? My sister collected Care Bears. Never watched the My Little Pony show. Thundercats was a great show as well.
All right, all 14 jurors have returned. Thank you very much, everybody. Please be seated. And ladies and gentlemen, you can be seated, ma'am. Thank you again for your patience. I can assure you that while you were gone, an extent of the 15-minute
Get out there and make sure
break that
everything's
I
safe.
had intended, we were working on some matters, legal matters. And before Ms. Pescador continues, I am going to read to you a stipulation and agreed facts from the parties. It is hereby stipulated and agreed as follows. Better light over here, that one's out. Number one, that during the search, K-9 Raven exhibited 2 changes of behavior. Number 2, that in his report, Deputy Willis stated that Detective LaFleur later confirmed the 2 vehicles K-9 Raven exhibited changes of behavior on were involved in fatalities. Number 3, that Attorney Galaviz became the attorney of record in this case at the beginning of April 2025, that at that time, no one in the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department or the Office of the District Attorney had a comprehensive list of the vehicles that were in the garage on September 19, 2022. Number 4, that counsel for the defense made an open records request to the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. Number 5, counsel for defense received reports related to the vehicles in the garage on September 19, 2022 from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. Number 6, that counsel prepared a summary which was substantially similar to Exhibit 610. Number 7, that summary was provided to Ms. Pescador. This stipulation and agreement is signed by Mr. Wolf, attorney for Mr. Pahl as well, and Attorney Opper also. So, Mr. Wolf, your direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Pescador, you read a portion, I believe, of Deputy Willis's report that said those 2 vehicles were, quote, involved in fatalities, unquote, correct?
Correct. And
so when you received the information from Attorney Galaviz, it was basically your understanding was a summary of information he had that related to all the vehicles or the inventory of the garage on September 19th, 2022.
correct.
And you were simply looking for, you were trying to determine how many of the vehicles were.
Meg and Me, was that something with a shitty robot? Am I thinking of something else?
I want to use the right words, involved in fatalities.
Correct. I was trying to see how many vehicles were involved in fatalities and matching language from the report that Officer Willis wrote.
And some of there was that additional column that kind of gave a little bit more detail as well, and that was helpful for you to try to understand the environment where this search was conducted.
Correct.
So part of your job, you analyze searches both in training scenarios and real life, correct?
Yes.
And can you give me an example of an evaluation that you've conducted?
Yes, so there's operational proficiency or effectiveness, and then there's forensic reliability. Those are 2 different types of evaluations that I perform.
Can you give me an example of an operational efficiency evaluation?
Sure. So operational efficiency is more of a field test, and that is to determine how efficient or effective a canine team performs in the field. For the handler, it can be search planning, being able to read the dog, as I said before, their body language, being able to tell the dog's alert, its changes of behavior, and for the dog's performance, how well it is able to work independently from the handler, that it's not cued by the handler, it's not paying too much attention to the handler's own body language and movements, that it is able to independently work, perform its alerts, and that they work together as a team effectively.
Okay. What about, you said forensic, what kind of evaluation would involve an analysis under forensic reliability?
So that is more of an analysis of process, and it does include an evaluation of training logs, making sure that the team has been performing consistently over time, that the team it's documented that the team has performed that consistent training. That includes discrimination apart from animal remains, so that the dog is not cued by that. It can tell the difference. So in the field test for forensic reliability, we will put out animal remains, which could be animal bones. So as an evaluator, I will keep animal bones. You may find roadkill for that. You could use pork. You can use pork. You could use chicken, and you'll put it out in the field to make sure that the dog isn't cued by that, and it'll go and alert on that. Sometimes they will, and that will be a way to identify a problem. There are many ways that you can test for problems with that. I had given an example yesterday of a dog that will false alert based on the scent cues of previous dogs or handlers. So you're checking for biases and problems with cueing in that regard, as well as a history of consistent training.
Okay. What kind of evaluation did you do in this particular case?
This involved records, and it involved very comprehensive documentation that was kept by Officer Willis in this case that provided a lot of that information that I was able to help perform that assessment for forensic reliability.
Okay. Were there things that were lacking that did not allow you to get to establish forensic reliability?
In his documentation, there was records of his training, and there was lacking of training.
Okay, what about the actual test? What do you think in the test caused into question forensic reliability?
Objection vague. What test?
During the search in this particular case, what do you feel causes questions as far as the forensic reliability of that search?
All right, he's clarified. I'm not going to rule on the objection.
No.
All right, go ahead, ma'am. You can answer that.
Thank you. There was no documentation of discrimination, training, or testing against animal remains. So that was entered in as an issue, as well as documented cases of false alerts on vehicles and multiple vehicle training.
What about the actual test itself that you saw that would cause concern?
I hate Jesus Christ Superstar. Maybe it's because it's a 70s musical. I hate it. It's a really bad musical.
Concern about its forensic reliability.
May I ask for clarification?
What aspects of Deputy Willis and Raven's search on September 19th, 2022 cause you concern about any forensic reliability?
Burping of the vehicle was one issue because of the potential for introducing human odor cues.
Okay, what else?
Could you please?
Were there any actions by the handler that caused you concern for forensic reliability?
She is a cadaver dog training expert, is what they're saying.
It was his behavior at that critical moment when Raven had turned at the service door, and then he had, the handler had turned around as well at that moment, or approximately within the same frame of time.
Okay, what about the environment? Did the environment cause you concern for forensic reliability?
Yes, it wasn't just what vehicles were present in the building on that day, but it is the history and the use of that building to store vehicles that had been involved in fatal accidents or vehicles that had been involved in serious injuries. So it's an accumulation over time. It's the history of that building.
Okay, so even if certain of those vehicles that were on the list were removed, there could still be some residual.
It's the fact that that vehicle, Mr. Pahl's vehicle, was placed in that building And if I recall correctly, it had been stored in there for 2 days prior to the search taking place. It had introduced the potential for cross-contamination of odor. The ventilation fans in that building were also noted as being on during that time, which provided airflow and an even greater potential for cross-contamination.
Okay.
So even if that vehicle had been taken out of that building and placed in a parking lot, if a search had been performed, even then, it still had that potential for cross-contamination.
Okay. Finally, the issue is raised as far as your compensation, correct?
Correct?
And you are getting paid in this case, correct?
Correct.
And do you get paid for everything you do?
Not everything.
Okay. You could have requested the police reports from Attorney Galaviz, correct?
I suppose so, yes.
And you could have spent hours and hours on those police reports, correct?
Correct.
And why didn't you do that?
I felt that I had enough information based on the scope of what I was looking for.
Okay. Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Reed Cross?
So just to be clear, this was not a test, right? This was an actual search in the field on September 19th of 2022 by K9 Raven, correct?
Correct.
So anytime you're referencing a test, that's not what this was, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you agree with me that it was a blind search,
Correct.
okay? And it is incorrect when you just testified that Raven turned at the service door, correct? That's not where she turned.
I said the approximate location and time.
No, you said she turned at the service door. She turned right when she got to the back bumper of that truck, correct? She was passing by the back bumper of the truck.
It was around that area, the same area as the service door, according to the diagram drawn by Officer Willis.
And after that, Investigator Willis started to walk the other direction, consistent with prior trainings, correct?
Could you please rephrase your question?
Yes, after the dog's walking past the car, right? Dog's walking past Mr. Paul's vehicle in the garage. You agree with that?
Past his vehicle?
Yes, the dog.
I'm
If
sorry.
This is the vehicle, she's walking past the vehicle, right? My table's the vehicle. The dog comes around the side, correct? Dog comes from this way. The table's the car, the truck,
Okay.
okay? Based on what we heard from Investigator Willis, the dog walks past and then suddenly turns, has a change of behavior, goes to the rear passenger side and provides a trained formal alert, correct?
Where's the service door in this case? In this?
Tell me.
I'm asking you. You're walking around, but I can't tell where the service door is in your scenario.
This is the truck.
Okay.
This is the direction of travel for Raven. Are you with me?
I'm following.
Okay.
Stop.
Where's the service door?
Sounding.
I'm asking you.
You'd agree with me, Ms. Pescador? There's absolutely nothing in the training records that suggests Raven hits on animal remains, correct?
Well, he didn't write that down. He didn't proof against it.
He didn't write it down. It's in his training records, correct?
No, there's no indication that he ever trained against that. He didn't proof off of it.
You're telling me there's nothing in his training records where he documented there be search training areas and there were animal remains present and the dog did not alert? Are you telling me that's not in his records?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, then take it. You're just implying that she lied. Then take it out and show she lied, or don't imply she's lying. I liked her doing the Daryl Brooks. I really think she is just condescending and demeaning to this witness.
That's it?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. So I'll finish your excuse.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Sure.
And I finished the poll. It's going to be the pastor who dipped in his flock. But it's going to be on replay.
All right. Any other witnesses from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any rebuttal testimony from the state?
No, Judge.
Okay. So folks, here's what's gonna happen. That means the testimony's over in the case, right? And I am going to talk to the attorneys about jury instructions and how we're gonna proceed after this. And what that means effectively is that you're gonna turn your notebooks over because the testimony's finished to Mike. And then you'll get them back when you deliberate. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have you go back to the jury room now. And I'm gonna talk to the lawyers a little bit about timing. And then what's gonna happen is you're probably gonna get an extended lunch time.
We need an option to where we don't haven't seen enough, but I don't like this prosecution. She is rude. If you mean to vote on, if you don't believe you have seen enough, then you always vote not guilty. We don't have the, well, I'm hung. No, because if you're hung, you're not convinced, and you have to be beyond reasonable doubt on this channel to find someone guilty. So that's why you only get the binary yes, no, because I'm such a smart ass.
And then we're gonna come back with jury instructions and final statements. After we have the closing instructions, so we're gonna have instructions. I'll read most of them. We'll have closing arguments, and there's very few instructions after that. And then immediately before you start your deliberations, we're gonna select the two alternates who will not involve themselves in the deliberations, right? And I can assure you that
I'm asking, what would you think? I'm not asking about the jury because we can't read minds and we don't know who is on the jury. That's why we're asking, what, if any, would you vote, not wake?
that's gonna be done by random computer assignment, and I have no idea who it's gonna be, right? And it will be a very disconcerting experience for the two of you, whoever it's gonna be, when you're told, thank you very much, you're excused. And I apologize for that, but again, I think you can understand, I think this is our 8th day here, I think, right? And you understand that during that time period, anything could have happened with anybody. And that's why we have the two alternates, especially in a trial like this that's gonna last that long. So my instructions to you now are go back to the jury room, take your notebooks, wait a little bit. I'll talk to the attorneys about timing, and then I'll send word back to Mike, and he'll instruct you when you're to return this afternoon, all right? Anything else from the state before we break?
No, Judge.
All right, anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, very good, thank you, folks.
All rise for the verdict.
You got this one?
No, that's who they brought in. They had 3 witnesses. But that's why you either have, if you don't know for sure you're gonna vote guilty, you have to vote not guilty. You can't be hung, because if you're hung, they haven't reached beyond the
All right, have a
reasonable
seat,
doubt for
everybody, the
you.
jurors have left. Yesterday, our clerk.
No, they
I
have to
believe,
turn them
sent-
over.
At the end of the day, sent very rough drafts of instructions that we had received from the parties. And I think it's probably prudent for me to, well, let me put this, let's talk about timing first. I think that we can finish up by noon talking about instructions and probably having a finalized form for them. We could take a lunch break, and then the parties can come back and approve finally of the instructions, right? And then we can go on towards our closing instructions and then the closing statements. So what I would probably propose is that we tell the jurors to come back at 1:15, and then we'll move on from there. Ms. Gordon?
That's fine with the state.
Mr. Wolf, Mr. Gallagher?
That's good, Your Honor.
Okay, so, give me 1 second. Did the state print copies of the instructions? Do you have them?
Yes, your clerk kindly provided a printed version last night, Your Honor.
Okay.
If you listened before that, he said, bring your notebooks and give it to whoever, and you will have them back for deliberations. So that's what he said. 1:15 is when we're going to go into the jury instructions and closing arguments. There They're going to argue closing arguments now. We're going to listen to them later. I don't care for listening for lawyers who's going to argue what we're going to spend an hour listening to him reading in a monotone voice. Anyway, so I'm going to take a long lunch break like the rest of you. Closing arguments, I have it set up to start at 1:15 Central Time, 2:15. Yeah, he said 1:15, 2:15 Eastern Standard Time. We will then get the jury instructions, probably going to be, depending on how fast he reads, 45 minutes. Then closing arguments. There is no time limit so far that we have heard about. Probably going to be shorter. The opening statements weren't that long, so hopefully we will be done and they have the jury out deliberating by 2:15, probably around 4 o'clock. So I don't know if he's going to keep them there or send them home to then start deliberating tomorrow. But that's what we're going to do it. No, I didn't miss that, but I'm not going to pull any notice to it because there's no reason to dox them. So, yeah. Shut up. And by the way, how long has the trial been? As you can see in the description, this is day 6, part 1. And just to go back to our earlier discussion, there are only 2 acceptable musicals by Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's Phantom of the Opera and what's the other one? It's the Evita and Phantom of the Opera. The rest is crap. No one should ever watch Cats. No one should ever watch Starlight Express. He was most likely on way too much LSD when he wrote all of that. Watch the Gerald Butler version. You'll get surprised that a man who plays Leonidas or Leonidas can also sing the lead role in Phantom of the Opera. But I like that movie. We are on a long lunch break. You have to be back by 2:15 your time. The deliberation might be long on this one. Yeah, I'm not thinking I'm going to do verdict watch because I think it can be quite extensive. That's why when they're sent out, I'll probably end because it will also be very late my time. And then tomorrow we can pick up with the preacher man who diddled his flock, and we can watch that while we wait for a verdict. Is Les Mis by Andrew Lloyd Webber? It's not right. Yeah, that's a good movie. I never ever watched Hamilton. Most modern musicals are crap. No, you didn't miss anything. You're not missing anything. I never liked musicals, but I like music. Music is my life. Name the movie. Well, the best musical is Sound of Music. It's an absolute gem. It's the greatest musical ever made. I am 16, going on 17, baby. Da, 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 da. I am 17, going on 18. La da da dee da da. Adieu, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, good night to you and you and na na na. La da. Boom, boom, boom. No, Les Mis is not Andrew Lloyd Webber. Claude Michel Schoenberg. We had defensive midfielder on my team called Schönberg back in the day. It is a really, really great movie to films. Bum, 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 bum. I don't like that one. The hills are alive with the sound of music. That's a Christmas movie in Denmark. I Love My Fair Lady. Oh, what's it? I can't remember the song from that, but I remember it. Oh, they are so bad, the Swedish James Bond movies. Never watched that one. Didn't know Shrek had a musical. I hate Les Mis, but then I hate Victor Hugo and his novels. I like some of the numbers. I didn't watch the movie. I've seen clips from it, and I'm not a big fan of the people they have chosen to sing it. I have a lot of people who have gone on and become professional musicians that I used to play with when I was younger, and who have made me plays with Les Mis and stuff like that. And you can have way better actors playing the roles. And I think that whole we have to live sing during the movie, and it was absolutely crappy-ola. And I'm not a big fan of Andrew Garfield, not Andrew Garfield, the other one, the British guy from Fantastic Beasts. What's his name? Not a big fan of his. That sounds dirty. I heard that in Spamalot on Broadway, if your phone goes off, the actors publicly shame you. They should. Haven't heard about that one either. Never watched Oklahoma. Never been that far west. Never heard about that one either. Yeah, I know Phantom was, but not Les Mis. Yeah, Eddie Redmayne. I'm not a big fan of Eddie Redmayne. I don't know. I don't think he's. I think he's a little too. Maybe it's because I saw him first in the Danish Lady, or Danish Girl, or whatever it's called. He's just a little too androgynous for me to be a socialist fighter in the revolution in France. I just can't buy him. Well, he played on the national team as well. It's not a great story. I say hi to him once. I think I watched it when I was a kid, and apparently the new recording of it was worse than getting kicked in the nutsack with an iron boot. I never understood Rocky Horror. I went to a showing of it when I was deployed, where they did all the things, and I think I left within 15 minutes. I have a very hard time doing kids or amateur theater. I hate it. I get secondhand cringe because it's so bad. And you're talking to a guy who played music for theater for a week, and I hate it. I get so cringed because the way they are talking, like they clearly are reading from a script, because they don't know how to play like a human. I just can't. It gives me the ickies. And having all these idiots running around throwing water on people, and we have to do the time to jump or whatever it is. No, there's a bar with a beer and with my name in it. I don't care for this. It was a great movie. Little Shop of Horrors was good. I remember seeing that with my dad when I was a kid. You too, Malin. I didn't care for Wicked, which was my show choir show my senior year. My gym buddy, who is way younger than me and has kids, she watched the new one. Is it with Ariana Grande or something? And she said I was so disappointed because I used to love Wicked, and then I watched this version of it, and apparently there's a second one coming out, and I'm so disappointed. It was horrible, and I'm thinking that's not good. Yeah, go listen to Hamilton. Maybe he can tell you what to do. I it's too stupid and too cringeworthy for me. I don't want to watch it. I'm sorry. But it's the same. I don't find Big Lebowski is the greatest movie ever made, bro. And you really don't know it, bro, because you don't F with the Jesus, bro. I think Big Lebowski is a stupid movie. I tried to watch it and I watched it all the way through to see why the hell is everyone so in love with it. And I thought it was a horrible movie. I thought it was dumb. It had no redeeming qualities other than it was. I would probably give it. I would give it a 4. It was bad acting, bad story, and it has got some cult status that I am too stupid to understand. But hey, Saturday I watched Craven the Hunter that everyone else hates, and I thought, that's a pretty good movie. No, I think it's a bad movie. It's a really, really bad movie. It's not a good movie. Napoleon Dynamite. Maybe it's because of it's that type of humor. I just don't get it. I don't understand why people think it's the greatest movies ever. But maybe it's because I'm Danish and I don't have that. We have a very different view of humor in the Danes and the Brits are kind of the same, and Americans are. You probably won't get our humor because we are very implied humor and stuff like that. Where Americans are, we will tell you when it's funny because now it's funny, and I just don't get those. A music like The Birdcage, not a music, but a movie like The Birdcage is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Every time I see it's on or I see it on a streaming service, I will watch it and I will laugh the entire movie through. That's a brilliant slapstick movie. But the other movies are just dumb weed movies. And I don't smoke weed and I don't get drunk when I watch movies, so they're just not for me. It's not much different than Dude, Where's My Car, in my opinion. Yeah, and that's the thing. If it takes you a long time, I'm not going to watch it again because it's not a good movie if it doesn't catch me. Birdcage is probably the funniest movie made in the last 30 years. It's such a great movie, and a lot of people don't understand it, and it was kind of going under the radar. I'm so sad that Nathan Lane came back to do Springtime for Hitler, and they had that, or the producers, and they had Matthew Broderick play the accountant because he was bad in that movie. Monty Python, the weekly show was horrible. Monty Python and what's it called? The one with the guy who eats a lot and blows up is absolutely unwatchable. The Knights of the Round Table is a pretty good movie if you're seeing it with the right people. And I can quote, bring out the holy hand grenade of Antioch, but they take the jokes a little too far. And of course, Life of Brian is a classic. Soon it's dinner for one again. Yeah, that's New Year's Eve. That's how you feel about Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead is a great movie. But I like Hot Fuzz more than I like Shaun of the Dead, and I don't like World's End. So the Cornetto trilogy for me is Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and then World's End. Grease is also a good movie. I like that one. Beauty school trouble. You're not cut out to hold that job. No customer would come to you unless they are a hooker. Beauty school trouble. Do you think that Robbie Williams looks like Aiden Carney? Absolutely not. Goodies. Do you mean Goonies? Pretty good movie. I haven't seen it since probably the 80s. I think I've seen it once or twice. Fun 80s kid movie. Mel Brooks is amazingly talented. He dare do stuff that no one else dare. Yeah, I think American humor is we have to show you when it's funny, where European humor is more, we'll let you figure out when it's funny. Yeah, World's End was a bad movie. I tried to rewatch it to see if it was one of those movies that you have to give a second try, and no, it was never good. That's funny how, but I thought World's End was the unnecessary third movie. Yeah, but it's just called the Cornetto trilogy. Hairspray. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I never. I never. It wasn't a musical that I wanted to see. So. Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers should play Aiden. He's a nice actor. He looks a little too worn out these days, I think. Faulty Towers. I think that's one of those shows that have grown on me. That because I have become a grumpy old man by hanging around the kid. She's always yelling at me. She's worse than Jamie, and I I I I see myself as Basil Faulty sometimes. Well, it's the same with the Dome film, where we're going to use the same, and every movie is just wildly different. I think Aiden, yeah, Aiden is early mid 40s. I'm 27, so I don't know. I think what is that the one with what I like about high school girls, as I get older, they stay the same or whatever creepy thing that you probably should never say in modern times. Is that Fast Time at Redmond's High? We called it something else. Allo Allo is a fun show as well. That was a good show. Jesse Pinkman would be a good Turtle Boy. Yeah, I could see that. Wasn't his mom kind of known? That's Dazed and Confused. Okay. No, I think he has hit the big 4-0. John Cleese's wife or the one who plays Basil Fawlty's? Die Besucher mit Jean Reno. The Visitor. Is that a movie? We are looking for the Madonna with the big boobs. Everyone is always looking for the Madonna with the big boobs. Talking about the Madonna with the big boobs. Hey, little D. Prunella scales the actress died. They're pretty old, all of those. They might be in their 80s, John Cleese and all of those. I am very young. I'm 27 years old. Yeah, it's the wanting you to watch more than ending it. Aiden was born in 81, birthday in December. See? So 81. $44. I was right. So 17 years older than I am. And I have all the gray hair. Don't know that show. Oh, he has his own Wikipedia page. Oh my. Oh my. I bet it's just Krusty Pandy sitting in there. And Aiden is an asshole. He's a big asshole. I hate him. Did you know he's an asshole? He's a big asshole. I hate him. That's his entire wiki page. You didn't miss anything. They were arguing the end. No, I don't have a Wikipedia. I made a made-up religion back when I took religion in high school because we had to make a project writing about a religion. So I made my own religion. I knew some people who put things on Wikipedia, who were editors or whatever they're called, because as long as it was on Wikipedia, you could use it as you could reference to it. So I made my own religion, had them put it up, and then I wrote a project about my own religion. Yes, I am that insane. Do we think Kate has unrequited feelings for Aiden? I do believe that what is it they say? Hate and love is very close to each other. Oh, that's would have looked weird for a Turtle Boy account. That's the thing. We don't know who anyone is online anymore. Everyone has 30,000 different accounts, and everyone is sharing DMs and getting into fights. You know what? It's 6:30 my time. In about an hour and a half, we're going to be back listening to boring journal instructions, and then we're going to see. Put one in chat if you believe it's going to be an absolute cluster muck doing the closing arguments. We're going to watch the closing arguments. I don't think they're going to end deliberations today because I think it'll be too late in the day. So we'll have to see, but we'll be back. Maybe I can put some words on screen on while we're on Verdict Watch or something, depending on how late it gets. Because I would really love. It's been a long time since I did a night show because I get to bed way. Last night I wasn't in bed till 1:30 because of the time we ended. So yeah, I like the Porky movie. They were a little. Oh my! I think I saw them when I was like 14, 15 years old, and that was oh my. I can recognize it everywhere. It had a mole on it. I'm sorry. And I have to go sneeze. Everyone. Oh, now I have to go blow my nose. We're going to do this again in about an hour and a half. More movie trivia at 9.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally built a cannon? Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.